All right. How's everybody doing this evening? I want to make sure that you are in our Facebook group. And our Facebook group is Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurs is the name of it. I want to make sure that you are in Facebook group because we're going to be conducting the majority of the webinar directly from the group. So make sure you're there. I actually want to make sure that people can hear me. So if you can hear me, let's go ahead and type a message. All right, so if you can hear me, just respond yes. On the Facebook group, respond yes. We want to make sure everything is working correctly. All right. People are saying yes, they can hear me. Excellent. This is the type of participation I want from you, ladies and gentlemen, all evening, okay? Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I know I'm not talking to myself here. This is wonderful. Well, I actually want to start by thanking you for joining me on this webinar where I talk about how I made $1 million from my living room couch. I know that is very enticing to a lot of people, but it's a very real story that I want to share. You hear about people making money all the time. You don't always know the backstory, and I want to let it all hang out this evening and let people know exactly how I did it, the struggles behind the scenes that most people will never tell you, and just really show you what's possible when you follow systems and what's possible when you become a student of marketing, something that I did not grasp in the very beginning, something that I totally skipped over, and I made a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make initially, and that is this. We tend to focus on our gifts and our expertise and what it is that we're good at. We're always trying to say, oh, I'm the best at this and I'm the best at that, so people should be paying me. Everyone should want my service. But unfortunately, that is not what it's about. Because no matter how good you are at something, people need to know you exist. And if you don't have the ability to let people know that you exist through effective marketing, then it doesn't matter. And that's what I quickly learned. That's what I very, very quickly learned. Now, again, I want for us to be very, very interactive this evening. When I type questions, give me responses. We want everything to be really, really good. And I just want to start off by saying, if anyone wants to join the Facebook group, because they're not here yet, they've just joined the webinar, make sure that you go to Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurs on Facebook, click to join the group, and we'll accept you in. Okay, so if you're someone who's coming in at the last minute, we'll definitely accept you in. So you want to go ahead and search on the group, Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurs. You're going to hear me say that several times because I know that people are going to be joining several times throughout the evening. So you're going to hear me remind people to join that group. So I wanted to start off really by asking people a simple question. And I know it may seem obvious, but there's always something much deeper that's going on with a lot of entrepreneurs. And what I want to know is why you even have this passion to be an entrepreneur. Now, I know people want freedom. I know that's going to be a very common answer. People want freedom. They want to be their own boss. But usually there's a reason why, whether it's your children, whether it's having the extra income to do things that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to do. I want to know, why do you have this desire to be an entrepreneur? So just go ahead and give me your reasons. Why do you have this burning desire to be an entrepreneur in the first place? Okay, I see a few people said they couldn't hear me. I still see some people can hear me. A couple of people mentioned they couldn't hear me, like Joyce Harper and Tiffany. You guys let me know if you can hear me now. Seems like most people can hear me. But let me know if you're still having any problems. But right now, I'm asking people, why do you have this desire to be an entrepreneur? You got Justin here. We have some UFC people, Ultimate Fighter Championship people. Awesome. Rick wants to have multiple revenue streams. Welcome to the call, Rick. That's a good idea. I definitely recommend everyone having multiple revenue streams. Oh, Stephanie is sick and tired of corporate and making other people rich. I understand that working hard for people to only be rewarded with 3% raises at the end of the year. Remember, I'm the HR person. I'll talk about that a little bit more. And I know that the average raise for anyone working a 9 to 5 is about 3%. So you're busting your butt all year long to get a 3% raise that you can barely even recognize in your paycheck. I get that, Stephanie. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, Tony wants to fulfill her passion. Makes sense. Yes. No financial security. That's exactly how I felt. Oh, these are great responses, you guys. And see, that's why I say it's not always what you think it is. There's always something else going on behind the scenes. And to be an entrepreneur, you truly have to have this burning desire to do things that most people won't do. And there has to be a reason deep in your gut that drives you to do this, because working for yourself a lot of time is definitely harder. And I know you hear it the opposite way. Everyone says, oh, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. But when it's up to you to keep the lights on, and you only, and you can't punch out at 5 o'clock like you could at your 9 to 5, things are very, very different. And so it's important that we get to the absolute reason why you even want to do this in the first place, because it takes an extraordinary person to be an entrepreneur. These are great reasons. Lawanda, great answer. Welcome to the call, Lawanda. She wants to be able to take care of her family. I totally understand that, and to help other people. Yes, generational wealth. Yes. Too many of us are leaving our loved ones with absolutely nothing. We want to be in a position to leave our children set up financially, to be able to take care of elderly parents. I totally get it. These are great answers, you guys. Great. Yes. Perfect. I appreciate the participation. This is how we're going to flow all evening. Thank you so much. All right. So now that everybody can keep their responses coming. It's no problem. Keep them coming out there. But now that I'm getting you to think about, why am I waking up every day wanting to do this? Why do I want to be my own boss? Why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Because it's not always easy, you know? But now just getting you to thinking about why you're doing this, why you're doing what people say you're just so crazy for doing this, that's good. And I want you to remember the reason why. You know, and when things get difficult, you have to reach back inside yourself and say, this is why I'm doing this. Makes perfect sense to me. This is great. So I kind of wanted to give you a chance to see kind of how I got to the spot that I am right now. Now, I know a lot of people in here. Some of you are present clients. Some of you are my coaching students. Some of you are students getting ready to be mastermind students. So welcome to my mastermind students here. These are my high-level mastermind students. Welcome to the call. Anine, I see you. This is awesome. But some of you have never heard of me before. Some of you are very new to Vicki Irvin. And I want to go back and take you back down the road of my why. Okay, my why, my struggles, and how I arrived at the place that I am right now. All right? I first want to go back to myself being this young girl in high school and not really wanting to go to college. You know how it is. If you come from a family where, you know, everyone's trying to get you to go to school and go to college because that's what most of our parents or the people who raised us tried to get us to do, come out of high school, go to college, get a good job, and stay there until you die. And get your Social Security and then until you die. And that's the type of family and background that I came from. And so when it came time for me to start filling out college applications and everything, I didn't want to go to college. I had no desire to go to college. And my mother, she was livid. My mother was livid. My mother and father, they were like so upset. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, he was already started going to University of Massachusetts, UMass, because I am from Springfield, Massachusetts. And I just didn't have that desire. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt like I was, you know, I already been to school for 12 years. You want me to go to school for 4 more? I mean, that was just insane to me. And so my mother was so frantic that it got to the point where she started filling out college applications for me. Okay, that's how bad it was. She started filling out college applications for me. And my mother got really upset one day, and she was like, you know, you are going to sit down and fill out some of these applications yourself. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm filling out the applications, and this is a true story. And it's embarrassing, but I think it's important for you to understand where I came from. I'm filling out these college applications, and, you know, I could pretty much fill out my name and my address, but then they got to some questions that seemed to be a little more difficult for me. And I remember looking up and my mom and my brother were sitting there, and I said, am I a veteran? And they looked at each other, and they shook their heads, and they were like, what is going to become of this child in the 12th grade at 17 years old, 16 or 17, whatever it was? She does not even know what a veteran is. And that's the honest to God truth. And so they're like, no, Vicki, you're not a veteran. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of where I was going into college, which thank God I finally got accepted at some point, thanks to my mother filling out the application. But there's a lot of people in the 12th grade, and I would hope, that I'm alone by myself with this one here, who are very, very focused. You ever know people who know exactly what it is they want to do, and you hear people say, oh, ever since he or she was a little girl, a little boy, we knew that they were going to be this. They always loved to do this. I was never that person. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was very, very difficult for me. And so I ended up going to college. I graduated. I moved to the Maryland, D.C. area, and I kind of fell into the profession of human resources. It's not what I went to school for. I came down, got a job, and kind of worked my way up and everything. And so I was your human resources professional. Okay, and that's what I've done pretty much my entire life up until about 2007. So the world of entrepreneurship is still very new to me, just to let you know. It's just 2012 here. But me coming here and working in human resources opened up some doors for me. And when I say opened up some doors, it meant into seeing what the working world was like, into what was going on behind the scenes. If any of you are currently working at a 9-to-5, you know that human resources kind of has the story and what's going on with the company before everybody else. And that was me. And guess what? A part of my job was always to have to lay people off. And we're talking about people who have been working 10 years, 20 years, 30 years with the same company, who thought they were going to retire with one thing, to only realize they were not. They were being pushed out the door. And I was the person, unfortunately, who had to deliver that news. And let me ask another question here. How many of you know someone who has been laid off, or were you ever laid off? Go ahead and answer that question for me. How many of you know someone who has been laid off, or were you ever laid off before from your job? And I'm going to give you guys a second here, because I know you're going to be like, yes. I think we all know somebody, or it's happened to us before. Yeah. Yes. Bethany, absolutely. A lot of people end up getting into entrepreneurship because they were laid off. And they had no choice, because it's very hard sometimes to find another job, or because you don't want to leave your financial future up to an institution ever again and have to go through that, and it forces you into entrepreneurship. Oh, gosh, yes, exactly, exactly. Thank you, guys. Yes. Everybody seems to know someone. Rick, Joe, Audrey, Sheila. Yes. Candy? Yep. Just like I thought. So here I am, this person, telling people and delivering this devastating news that you no longer have a job. And I saw the devastation it was causing for people. People didn't know what they were going to do next. They didn't know how they were going to make ends meet. They didn't know how they were going to pay their mortgage. And I had to hear these stories. And it wasn't pretty and it wasn't fun. And regardless of what organization that I worked for, this was always a part of what I had to do. And so I started to notice some patterns here. When an organization or company needs to cut company costs, there are two major ways that they do this. One, eliminating jobs. They may bring in contractors to do the job cheaply, or just double up and make somebody else do it. Or they reduce or they eliminate retirement benefits altogether. Okay? Whenever a company needs to cut company costs, those are the two ways that they're going to do it. And this is some behind-the-scenes stuff as a human resources person. So what I began to realize is that I wasn't exempt from the same thing happening to me because HR people get laid off too, okay? And I said, wow, this is scary. This is very scary for me. And I feel helpless. Like at any day I can walk in the door and someone tell me, you're no longer needed. So why should I leave my financial future up to someone else? That was the first thing. Now the second thing for me is that I felt like I do so much more in the world, and I know that may sound a little strange, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you can identify with this. But if whatever you're doing right now is not something you enjoy, I bet every day you're thinking about, or I bet it keeps you up at night, what else is it that I'm born to do? Or this is not my calling. There's something else there for me. And I want to know how many people feel like that right now, that there's something else. If you're not in a position right now to be where you want to be in your business, or you haven't started your business yet, how many people are currently working a 9-to-5 job and feel like they were destined for something greater? I'm going to ask you right now. Do you have that feeling where you feel like you were destined for something greater? If you're just coming on the call right now and you want to join the webinar, we're having this in my private Facebook group. You can search in Facebook for Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurial. Come on and join us and participate, because don't hold me to any time limits. I am here in California, and I am at Disneyland with my son and my husband, and we're out walking around the park. I'm like, I have to get back into a webinar right now. So I want to have fun with this. I want to give you a lot of great information. And what's going to keep me going is knowing that you're enjoying this, knowing that you're participating, knowing that you're very engaged. And I'm going to give you everything I got. I just need you guys to hang with me. Don't look at your watch. It's a leisurely Sunday evening for you. Let's just get down and dirty. And I'm going to talk about some stuff most people never talk about. All right. Okay. Yes. Everyone has that feeling. It's like that burning feeling in your gut that I am supposed to be doing something else. Yes. Thank you, Brenda. Yes. Yes. Tiffany, absolutely. Every day. It says every day. It means one of my new mastermind members. Every day. That's why we're going to be working together. Amazing. All right. Yes. Yes. Great. Okay, so I'm not the only one. So imagine me sitting here every day, like chained to a desk, you know, going through the routine and going through the motions, driving to work in so much traffic just to sit behind a desk and not feel like I was having any type of positive impact on the world. So many of us become entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs because we want to help people on a large scale. That's what I find through working with over 2,000 people in different backgrounds and different areas. Most people get into it because they have a gift that they want to share with other people. Perhaps you've been through a situation and you know there's other people out there who need help through the same type or similar situation, and you survived it and you did it well and you understand, and now you want to show people that they too can survive. So many entrepreneurs start their own businesses to get their messages out in a big way. And so that's really what it's all about. And so here I am, chained to this desk, not really feeling like I had anything positive to give to the world. In fact, I was doing the opposite by having to deliver this news. And trust me, I understand it's just business, because companies are all about just business. They may like you, but the loyalty thing where you say, how could they do this to me? I was so loyal. That doesn't come into play because it is a business. And they may like you on a personal level, but when it comes down to it, when you're running a corporation or a business, it's all about the bottom line. And that's why I say that, you know, people can't leave their financial future up to someone else. Now, a lot of you, if you are lucky enough to work at a job that's a 9-to-5 that you love, there is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. You are blessed. You are in a great position to go to work every day and absolutely love what you do. I totally get that. However, I do find that the majority of people do not. The majority of people do not. So I'm sitting here not knowing what to do, and there's a whole other thing going on in my life that's driving me nuts. And this is the behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on in my own household with my husband. Some of you may know my husband, Lloyd. Some of you may not. But when I first got married, my husband, Lloyd, you know, he had a martial arts school, and that's what he did. And he was getting into this whole world of marketing, this whole thing called direct response marketing, and he was obsessed. And I'm talking about a person walking around the house talking about marketing all the time. I'm talking about a person who's chained to their computer, and when I wanted time and I wanted attention, he wasn't available to give it to me. And this is as a newlywed. This is bad to the point that I had to say, did I make a mistake marrying this person? Because this person is obsessed with marketing and some man named Dan Kennedy, who is one of his mentors, and he didn't want to be bothered with anything else. And it caused a real problem in the household. It caused a real problem in our marriage. And I would ask him, Lloyd, what is going on? What is all this stuff you're talking about? What is all this marketing stuff that you keep talking about all the time? And he's like, listen, I'm learning how to boost my business. I'm learning how to bring more income in. And he's talking about copywriting, and he's building his list. I'm like, what list? What are you talking about? I just didn't believe. We came from two different worlds completely, okay? I didn't understand it at all. And so what he would do is he'd say, listen, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. And this went on for a couple of years. This was bad. You know, you talk about newlyweds, and it's supposed to be the honeymoon season, sweet, okay? And he finally said to me, well, why don't you come with me to one of my mastermind meetings? And this is, you know, his mentors were Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazier from the GKIC world. For those of you who don't know, they're responsible for so many entrepreneur millionaires out there, and this is who he was attached to. This is who he was plugged into. This is, you know, he spoke about them. He talked about them like he was in a cult. I remember using that word. Like I would tell my mother, Mom, I think he's in a cult, some type of marketing cult. It was just that serious. And so he said, come with me to one of my mastermind meetings. Just come. And I reluctantly went after a couple years of going through this. And I got in a room with a whole bunch of other people who were just like my husband. They were all talking this marketing stuff. But let me tell you what opened up my eyes. These were people who came from all types of different backgrounds and niches and professions. I'm talking about carpet cleaners, people who had small restaurants, people who cleaned gutters, people who were roofers. Whatever it was they were doing, they were like millionaires and above as a result of the marketing strategies that they were learning to apply to their business. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe Lloyd is not as crazy as I thought. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to all these people, and I'm blown away. And at that point, I really, really, really wanted to be totally down with it. And I remember, a lot of you may know Allie Brown. Allie Brown at the time was one of the first women in the mastermind group at all. And she was there, and I remember talking to Allie, and this was years ago. And she was like, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm in this room with all these guys, and you can do this type of stuff too. And she was like my first motivation as far as being a woman doing all of this stuff. And I took Allie's words and some stuff that she was doing, and I felt like, okay, maybe I can do this. And so when we went to lunch, I remember leaning over to Bill Glazier, because I was kind of just there as Lloyd's wife, and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Bill, what can I do? What do you think I can do? So now all of a sudden I want to be totally down with the program. I want to get involved, you know. I want to know how I can make some of this money too. And I remember him telling me, he said, you know, real estate investing is really hot right now, Vicki. Why don't you get involved in real estate investing? And when somebody successful has a suggestion for you, somebody that you admire, somebody who's attained a level of wealth or is at a level that you aspire to be, here's a clue. Listen to what they're saying. We often have a tendency to take advice from people who are totally unqualified. But when someone of the caliber of a Bill Glazier is telling me get involved in real estate investing, I said, okay. Okay, if I can do what everybody in this room is doing, I said, okay. And so that's what I did. I got involved in real estate investing. Now, there's, the backstory of me thinking that I could shortcut the process. There's the backstory of me believing I could skip a lot of steps, okay? And a backstory of me believing that as long as I became a good real estate investor, I would have it made. And that did not end up being the case at all, okay? So what happened is I tried to initially do many, many things on my own that did not work. And I remember saying, why isn't this working? This stuff doesn't work. Maybe Bill led me the wrong way. But guess what? I was not following a model that he gave me. I was skipping steps and then saying, I'm not getting the same result. Well, if you don't follow a success model, of course you're not going to get the same result. We have a tendency to shortcut the process or want to shortcut the process, and then we wonder why we're not getting the positive result that we're supposed to get. So I suffered those bruises. I suffered those bumps. I lost a lot of money doing things the wrong way, thinking I could do things by myself, okay? And I couldn't. And I wasted a lot of time that way. But when I attached to a mentor who had been there, done that, and was still doing it, as one of my mentors like to say, someone who's still doing it, that's when everything began to change for me. Attaching to a mentor and investing in learning how to do things the right way is when things began to change for me, okay? My mindset had to change. Very, very important. Very important. Yes, Tony, a complete waste of time and money to try to figure out things on your own when you can invest in giving somebody else a chance to tell you what they've done that made them successful. It's such a lifesaver to shorten that learning curve. I can't even tell you. You don't want to go down that road. If you've been spinning in circles right now for a long time, trying to figure out things on your own, you know how frustrating that can be. And I just want to ask a question right now, because I was tired of it. I want to know, are you tired of spinning in circles? Let me know if you're tired of spinning in circles. Yes. Yes. People are sick of spinning in circles. Yes, I know. I know, exactly. And that's how I felt. I wasted years. I wasted time. I wasted money trying to figure everything out on my own. And it was not working. And I kept wondering, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? It's because I didn't have what I need. I didn't have the knowledge that I needed to make it work. And that was the problem initially. Okay? I get everybody's sick of spinning in circles. I was there. Trust me. Somebody said they're dizzy. Liliana said she's beyond dizzy. I totally get that. Beyond dizzy. Yes, look at this. Yep, merry-go-round. Tiffany says like a merry-go-round. Yes, yes, yes. Ah, I'm so glad to know I'm not the only one. This is great. Okay, good. So now you know how I felt at that point in time. So when I finally attached to a qualified mentor who said, stop what you're doing because it's not working, this is a success model. Follow it to the T, and you're going to get the result that you want, okay? So that's what I did. So I learned how to invest in real estate the right way. I finally began to be successful at it. And after I had the model down that my mentor gave me, I was good. And I was so good that I was like, man, I learned how to do this. And there's other people out here who live in my area who I'm sure would want to learn how to do the same thing. So I want to start a real estate investing coaching program, not just invest in real estate myself and try to buy up all the houses myself. I wanted to show other people that there's a way to actually do this, because I didn't think people in my particular community knew about it, or if they heard about it, they didn't think it was possible, because I was that person who did things like buy Carlton Sheets courses late at night, watching infomercials and saying, oh gosh, you know, how can I do all this stuff? And just, you know, there's so many people out there who don't get it. And so after going through this, I want to be able to show people that there is a possibility, there is a way to actually invest in real estate and be successful at it. And so I wanted to start this coaching program. And through the marketing that I learned, through learning how to do things the right way, I was able to start this successful coaching program. And when I talk about making $1 million from my living room couch, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about picture me right now, sitting on a couch with my laptop in my lap, doing every single aspect of my business that I learned, with most of this focused on marketing, okay? Most of it focused on marketing. And let me just stop here for 1 second. We have about 133 people on this webinar right now, and when I'm asking questions, I don't feel like I'm getting enough participation. Out of 133 people, I need everybody in here answering my questions, okay? We got 38 people who commented on the last one. I know there's more people sitting in circles, and it's going to come to a point where I'm not even going to move on until I get participation, okay? 133 people, you have to be engaged. You can't stay behind the scenes all the time. I need you to come out and be engaged. It's a success trait of entrepreneurs who are going to go on and do big things. Participation, answering questions. I want you to start doing that. If you're a person who normally plays the background, you can't do that with me. I need you to come out and participate. Like I said, I'm here at Disneyland with my family. We cut our trip a little short to come back to the room so I can do this webinar. I need to know that it's worth my time. I already know this stuff. I'm trying to give it to everybody on the line, but I absolutely want participation when I'm asking questions. That's what's going to give me the energy to keep going, okay? Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. So here we go. And I'm doing this real estate investing thing. I'm starting this coaching program because now I have the marketing concepts down, but I'm doing it from my living room couch, literally with the laptop on my lap, okay? And I'm the person who's calling people, and I'm the person who's calling the hotel to set up the meetings, and I'm doing the marketing, and I'm doing the list building, okay? And I'm doing the communicating with my list every week. I'm starting to write every week, okay? Now, I know one of the things when I ask what people were having challenges with is list building. How do I build a list? Why do I have to build a list? You know, what is this list thing all about? I learned, when I finally got this straight, I learned early on that if you know how to build a list, you're going to make money in your business. And for a lot of you who have great businesses, that is the missing link for you, is list building. Okay, the missing link for you is list building, because you don't have a following of people who are genuinely interested in what you do, which is what we call our prospects. Now, let me tell you how this works for me using this first company that I built into a multi-million-dollar company from my living room couch. What I did at the time, and this is where you want to take some notes, is I decided to give out a free CD, okay? Anyone who is interested in learning how to invest in real estate with me could request a free CD from me, either online. They could call a number, an 800 number that I set up. They could call an office, which was just a cell phone. You know how that goes. And they could request this free CD. And that was the first way that I began to build my list. Now, some people would say, well, why don't you just tell people to come out to your seminars to hear about the real estate investing, and why are you bothering to give them a CD, okay? Well, here's the thing. In order to get the CD, you have to give me your contact information so I can mail it out, right? So that's how I began to build my list. Because why, you say? Because people do not always buy from you, and this is going to go from you, all of you. People aren't going to buy from you necessarily the first time that you put an offer out to them, okay? They're not going to buy from you the first time you put an offer out to them. In fact, it's proven that it's about 7, 8, or 9 contacts with a person before they'll actually buy from you. So what giving people the free CD on real estate investing did was it gave them a chance to hear more about what I was doing, but it also was a way for me to capture their contact information into my list so that I could continue to communicate with them every week, because at the time I was writing a weekly message to my list so that they would never forget that I was there. Okay, because again, I'm going off the premise that people don't buy from you the first time out the gate. That's not what they do. So if you're a person who's just kind of not collecting contact information and putting offers out there, and you're expecting a person to come to your website and buy, well, when that person doesn't buy and they leave your website, guess what? They're forgetting all about you. And you have no way of getting in contact with them. Okay, so that's a very, very bad idea. All right, and I have something cool that I'm going to tell you guys about at the end of the webinar, because I don't believe in talking about problems. I don't believe in talking about your challenges and not providing you with solutions, because people need solutions. So for those of you who want solutions and to do things with me on a deeper level and work with me even more, I'm going to give that to you, I promise. But I'll tell you about that a little bit later on at the end of the webinar. I'm going to be doing something super cool for people. So I want you to understand about this whole premise of building the list. So all the people who are having challenges with the list, that's the reasoning behind it, is that people don't buy from you the first time. And you have to capture their information so that when they are ready to take that step, you are the person in front of them. You have their contact information. They're hearing from you every week through, let's say, your weekly e-zine that you're writing out every week. They're hearing from you. You're giving them great value. And when they're ready to come on board, they are going to come on board. Okay? They're going to come on board. And I can tell you this. I have had people, and because I'm talking about my real estate story right now, I have had people who came on my list in 2006, right? Came on my list in 2006 and didn't start working with me until about 2010, 2009. And they would come and they say, you know, I've been following you since 2006, but I wasn't ready to do anything. So now I'm ready, and you always stayed in touch with me, and I would get your weekly e-zine every single week from you, and now I'm ready to rock and roll with you. And then they would come on board. But had I not given them that CD that required them to enter their contact information, I would have never had the opportunity to work with that person. And I'm going to show you something right now so you don't think I'm a liar. This is my blog here. This is my blog. I want to show you my archives. Look at it. This is when I started the business, October 2006. Can you see? I've been writing a blog every single week, every month of every year. Okay? Every month of every year. And here we are, July 2012. So I'm proving to you that I've been communicating with my list since 2006. Here are all my blog archives. You're welcome to go and check out all my writings. You'll see them all. Just to prove to you that I'm not telling you a story. I'm not going to tell you anything that I don't do myself. Okay. I need to try to get my screen back. Hang on a second, guys. Look at this. I can't even find my screen back. Give me one sec. All right, here I am. So do you see? So let me ask you a question, because I want to make sure everybody grasps this concept before I move on. Do you see the importance of building a list and nurturing your list? I cannot tell you how many times I get people who tell me they've been on my list for years and they weren't ready to do anything. So whatever their reasons are, people aren't always ready when you're ready for them. But as long as you stay in front of them, providing great value and letting them know you're not going anywhere, when they are ready, you're the person they're going to go to, not your competitors, because you were the person who stayed in touch. And I'm telling you, this happens to me over and over again. There may be some people on this webinar tonight who say, yes, Vicki, you know, I've been following you for years, and I started working with you in this coaching program you had or this program you had. It took me years, right? Yes, a lot of people saying yes. Aha moment for them, absolutely. And this is why list building is so important. You're missing so many opportunities if you're not staying front and center in front of your prospects, because they're prospects at that point. These are people who are voluntarily opting into your list because you have something they're interested in. And yes, they're interested, but that doesn't mean they're ready to roll with you right now. But if you stay in front of them and you keep giving them great content for free or whatever it is that you do through your e-zine, at some point they are going to be ready to come on board with you. And that can only be accomplished through the list. I got 35 people who say that they now see the importance of list building. I need more people to let me know they see the importance of this. I need participation, guys. 135 on the webinar right now. We're rocking. Yes, thank you. Yes, timing. Yes. Yes, Becky said I get it loud and clear now. Yes, it is critical. Yes, Brianna. Great, Brenda. Great. Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys getting participation levels up. I really appreciate it. Yes, we're up to 51 comments. That's what I'm talking about. People come from out the background. Let me know you're with me. Let me keep dropping these nuggets on you. This is going to be fun. I'm having a good time with you. Great. Great. All right. So that's what I did with the real estate. I gave out this free CD. I collected all these, all this contact information for people, sent them out the CD. I was the person doing all of that stuff, okay? When I talk about that living room couch, I was like the fulfillment house. I was taking calls. I was answering emails. I was taking payments from people over the phone. I was doing it all from my living room couch, okay? And through doing that, I began, because this is what my mentors told me, Vicki, you got to communicate, you got to nurture your list. They have to get to know who you are. You have to connect with them, okay? Because people end up working with you based off of things that you wouldn't think. It's not always about how good you are at what you do. It's about you sharing stories of who you are so that people find ways to connect with you. I can't tell you how many women or people in general that have worked with me because they know my story of being a former human resources employee. I get human resources people at my events and in my programs all the time because they say, when I heard your story about working in human resources, I knew you were talking to me because guess what? I work in human resources too. And they end up working with me because they connected with me on the human resources level. There are people who end up working with me through other stories that I tell. All right? They say, oh my gosh, I was just like you. I didn't want to go to college either. When you told that story, that was me. I saw someone else like me. But if you leave out these important details of your life and you don't think they're important and nobody wants to hear about that, you are doing yourself and your business a huge disservice. People end up working with you based on things that you would never even imagine. So when you have a story, you tell your story, and you give great detail, and you get people to get on board with you through different ways, all right? Very, very important. Yes, Jennifer, chemistry with people. People attach to you for several reasons like chemistry. Very good, Jennifer. All right, so this is where I'm at. I've got this business cranking up, and I'm starting to make all of this money. And let me tell you something else. I'm still working my 9 to 5 at the time because I was scared to leave. I was scared to leave, but the business had me at the point where I was actually making my yearly salary in a month. In a month. The salary that I was making at my human resources job, I was making in a month. And I come from a six-figure HR background, okay? I was making around low six figures. And I was able to make that in a month versus a year. And I am like, oh my gosh, but for whatever reason, I'm still scared to leave. That old mentality. I heard my mom in my head saying, don't you quit that good job. This real estate stuff, you must be crazy. And you know, these things that people tell us and these values that are instilled in us when we were younger, some of them are great, but some of them are damaging. I wasn't fortunate enough to have the type of parents who said, go for your dreams, or yes, you will be successful doing that. If that's what you want to do, you go for it, and I totally back you. I had the people who were like, you must be crazy. You stay at that good job, and you collect that Social Security and that pension until you die. And here I am. Now, how deep is this? Here I am making my salary, my yearly salary in a month, yet my mother and father were still in the back of my head telling me that I was crazy, and I was still working the 9 to 5. So I'm on stage doing these seminars. If any of you have ever been to my real estate seminars, some people on this call may have been. Here I am on stage in front of 300, 500 people, and in the morning I was going right back to that HR job. So I want to ask people, are you still holding onto old values other people gave you that are stopping you from moving forward? Let me know. I can't be the only one who still was being held back by what other people were telling me, you know, that I was crazy, that I couldn't do it, that, you know, it's not going to work, and you're a fool to leave that job. It's giving you 6 figures. What's wrong with you? Give up this entrepreneur thing. It'll never work. You'll never make it. Yeah. Yep. A lot of people are still holding on. Like we get a lot of great things from our parents and people who raised us, but we also get a lot of things that stick in our head as adults that weren't so great, that we could actually throw out the window, you know? Had I had a different person of a different background there, and our parents only do the best they can do. They come from a generation a lot of times where the entrepreneur thing is a dreamer's world. They don't come from, you know, things have changed a lot. And so had I had a different type of parent, there are probably things that I would have done a lot sooner than 2006, because there are other dreams and things that I've wanted to do in my life that I didn't do because I didn't have that support. I didn't have anyone telling me that I could do it. I didn't have anyone telling me that they're behind me, and I just didn't have that. So I see a lot of people are in the exact same boat. Yeah. Yep. Some people, Ebony, good for you. Ebony said she learned to step over the naysayers and keep pressing on. Good for you. I couldn't do it for a while. I mean, remember, picture me making all this money every month but still scared to leave that job. Okay? Now, I thank you guys for the participation. We're getting our numbers up, and people are participating in great numbers. This is exactly what I want. Let's keep it going. Let's keep more people going. But I want to tell you something else that I had to go through. You know, I also, as I'm still working this 9-to-5 job, before I left and before I started with the real estate, I want to back up a second because I had some devastation that went on too. And we all have challenges in life, and we all have these catastrophic things that happen at some point that we don't ever think that we will survive. And it kind of can it can do one of two things. It can give you motivation and foresight to keep pressing on, or it can cripple you. Or it can cripple you and stop you from ever stepping out there and realizing the things that you were born to do. So while I'm still working this 9-to-5 job, I was pregnant with my first child. And for all the people who are parents out there, and for the moms who remember, you know, going through their pregnancy with their first child, the joys that come with that, here I was at, you know, 8 months of pregnancy thinking that I was having a healthy child. And I go in for a routine sonogram, and the doctors say, you know, I don't quite see what I'm supposed to be seeing. Something's not right here. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, there seems to be a problem with the baby. We want to send you to a specialist. And I literally had to go to a specialist, leave the doctor, to have them tell me, you know, your child has a very rare birth defect that is going to result in him, because I was having a boy, dying in your womb any day now. I can't believe you even made it this far. And this is something that they've missed the whole pregnancy. I mean, here I am at 8 months. You can't be telling me something's wrong. Surely somebody would have caught this sooner. And they're like, we're very sorry. This is a rare birth defect called trisomy 13, and very rarely do these children live beyond this. And all of a sudden I'm faced with the fact that this child that I've been carrying for nearly 8 months is going to die any day. And so at this point, I'm just devastated. And I'm like, you know, you mean I have to walk around and wait for the baby to die? And they were like, oh, yes, you can't do anything until the baby dies. So we're going to need you to come in every single week and have the heartbeat checked. And then we'll induce your labor, and you're going to have a stillborn, but we'll let you know when we no longer detect the heartbeat. Can you imagine walking around with your first child and basically waiting for your child's heart to stop beating? This is where I was. This is where I was during my 8th month of pregnancy. And when that day finally came that I had to give birth to a stillborn, and to go through the labor pains, just like if you're having a regular child. I don't know if anybody out there has ever gone through a birth before like that, when you know you're going to have a stillborn. But you're going through the labor pains just like you're producing a healthy child, the pain and everything we have to go through in childbirth, and know that your baby's going to be dead. And that was something I had to go through in life that set me back something vicious. I didn't want to face the world anymore. I didn't want people to see me because when something like that happens to you, you don't want to make other people feel bad. Everybody didn't know what was going on. And people, you didn't want people to say, oh, Vicki, hey, what did you have? And you have to say, oh, well, actually, the baby died. People are just devastated. You don't want to see the look on their faces. You don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. It was bad. So I kind of retreated into a shell, and I didn't want to leave the house. And again, this is why I was still working my 9-to-5 job, and this is actually before I started the real estate endeavors. But I did not want to even leave my house because I didn't want to face the world. But I had to make a decision that, okay, you're going to this job every day. You're not happy doing what you're doing. You just lost your first child. You're a newlywed. What are you going to do, Vicki? And so what are you going to do kind of moment? What are you going to do? And for me, I decided that I had to push on. I wanted my life to get back to normal. I couldn't hide in the house any longer. I wanted to get back to my normal routine. But here's what that did for me. Here I am, discontent at work every day, afraid to step out there and do something different. And I just lost my first child. And if I could survive losing my first baby, surely I can survive trying something new in life. So what happens when we have these catastrophic things is that they pale in comparison to the things that are preventing you from moving forward in your business, in your life. They pale in comparison. So what if I leave my job and the real estate thing doesn't work out? Who cares? I can do something else. I can figure it out, and if I have to, I can go back and get another job. Wouldn't be ideal for me, but it also wouldn't be the end of the world. But if I could survive losing my baby, I can face my fears, because fear is another thing that we all have to deal with every day, all day. The fear of stepping out and getting outside of our comfort zone and possibly failing, okay, and possibly failing. And that fear, and I've heard a lot of people say, when I asked you guys to list your #1 challenges, fear came up so many times. And let me tell you something, you do not want to be one of those people in life who lives with regret. Because everybody on this webinar already regrets something in life they have not gone for and something in life they have not done due to fear, okay? And that was a moment for me. If I could survive that, then surely I could survive trying something new in my life as far as business goes. And so I was able to kind of fight through the fear. Anytime I got scared, I'd be like, okay, Vicki, you lost a baby and you survived. This is child's play compared to that. And so whatever that moment is for you, whatever that thing is that you survived in your life, I want you to reflect on that anytime that you feel fear pushing forward in your business. Reflect on that thing in your life that you initially thought would cripple you forever, that you were able to crawl from under and move on. And I want you to, that to be your point where you say, oh my gosh, why am I scared to try to get a new client? Why am I scared to try to sell myself? I survived this thing. Surely I can do this, okay? So I call that your fearless zone, okay? You reflect on that moment. And I want to know right now, how many people have a moment like that? Doesn't have to be the same thing, okay? It doesn't have to be what I went through, but you have a moment. How many people have a moment in life that they can reflect on for strength? Whatever that situation was, you can look back and say, wow, if I could survive that, surely I can do this thing stopping me in my business right now. Because a lot of you, because this is me too, you're afraid to fail because you're worried about what other people are going to say. You're worried about people saying, I told you so. You're worried about your friends and your family laughing at you. And you're focusing on the wrong things when you do that. Okay, you're focusing on the wrong things when you do that. Don't worry about other people, because I'm going to tell you something right now. You can be the most perfect person in the world, and there's still going to be a segment of the population who has something negative to say about you. Okay? It doesn't matter. So don't worry about naysayers and people you feel are waiting for you to fail. They're going to talk about you regardless, no matter what you do, okay? No matter what you do. And I'm going to give you an example of that. And whether you like her or not, she's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You take somebody like Oprah Winfrey, who for many people as an African American, we don't have a lot of African American billionaires. We don't have a lot of people who have attained her level of success. And look how many people still find things to tear her down about. Look how many people still talk about how she doesn't do this for the black community or she hasn't done that. Do you have any idea how much she really has done for people? Way more than you and I could ever do. So who are we to judge? You know, but we still find things to say about people. This woman has done so much for so many people, but for some people, it's never going to be enough. So you could have it going on like Oprah Winfrey, and you could be in a position like Oprah Winfrey to help so many people, and you're still going to have naysayers and people who don't like you. So get over it. It's a part of success. You have to become immune to criticism. You have to learn how to deal with criticism. You have to know how to put people in a box and forget about it and focus on you. You never, ever, ever want to give people that much power to stop you from going for your dreams. Never want to give people that much power. So if you're holding yourself back because you're worried about people laughing at you, I want you to stop. I want you to go for it, and don't worry about these people. Okay? Don't worry about them. If they're in a position where they're waiting for you to fail, they know you're on the brink of something great anyway, and they don't like it, because we all know how envy and jealousy is. Don't worry about those people. Surround yourself with positive, like-minded people who want to see you move forward. This group that we are having this webinar in right now has only been up about a week or so, and already we have so many positive people in here. I see people helping each other out. This is the space you want to be in. These are the type of people you want to be around and hang around, and this is what's going to motivate you. So I need for you to get out of the space with all these negative people, because they're draining you. All right, they're draining you. So I don't want you to be afraid to move forward because of fear, and I don't want you to be afraid to move forward because you're worried about what people are going to say, laughing. You know, that's all a part of life. You have to be immune to criticism. And I'm glad to see that so many people have that moment in life that they can reflect on for strength. Okay, it's a great exercise. I still practice it to this day, because I still have a lot of fear for new opportunities that come my way. I go, oh my gosh, and I reflect on this moment. And it's an exercise that helps me, and I hope that it will also help you. I hope that it will help you as well. So that's really, really great. Now, after realizing this, that's what gave me the strength. I started doing the real estate. I stepped out there, and I started doing the real estate, and I started the coaching program. And even still then, like I told you before, even then, I had a bit of fear, which kept me chained to that desk to the point where I could finally fire my boss and say, you know what, I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back here. I think I can actually do this on my own. Well, within a year of focusing on marketing, okay, I already learned how to do the real estate. Remember I said we tend to focus on our gifts and our expertise too much? I already knew how to invest in real estate well. So I focused on becoming a marketer for my business. And what I want for you to do from this point on, if you're one of those people who is so focused on how good you are and how much better your services are from the person over here, and you don't know why more people are going to that person and not you, I want you to stop doing that. I want you to say, okay, I am good at what I do. However, what I'm not so great at, and the thing I'm shying away from, is diving into learning how to become a marketer for my business. So this is a mindset shift where I now want you to start becoming a marketer for your business, okay? That's number one, all right? So I pushed through this fear. I got that business cranking up into a six-figure business within a year, and it was all through, not because I was the best real estate investor, okay? It was through learning how to out-market people, all right? It was from learning how to out-market people. And I realized, man, this marketing thing, this is what it's all about. These strategies that I learned, okay, when I really got into marketing and started learning from mentors and investing in myself, this is what's making the difference in the world. And I'm going to give you another story, because I've heard a few people say this as well. I had one of the highest priced programs in the area, and what would happen is that people, you're always going to have competitors who do things to you too. That's a part of success. Friends, competitors. I've had several friends steal things from me. I've had so many different things happen in my businesses, all lessons to be learned. But what happened is that when people saw the success I was having with my real estate program, and I did two things here. I want to back up. I did two things. One is I came out marketing in a really big way. And for those of you who live in the area, who live in my area, who may be on this webinar, you know that I called myself the real estate investment queen. And let me see if there's anybody here who remembers me from doing that. You may have heard me on the radio or TV. REI Queen. I'll just put it in for short. Does anybody remember being on the radio, being the real estate investment queen? And I mean, I did it really, really big. And my point in telling you this is because most people, after investing in real estate themselves a few months, would not step out there and A, say they were qualified enough to teach other people, let alone call themselves the real estate investment queen. Now that takes some what they call brass kahunas, right, to go out and do that, because I know another thing stopping a lot of you. You don't think you're good enough. You don't think you have enough certifications. You don't think you have enough degrees behind your name. You don't think you have enough years experience. And that stuff is stopping you from moving forward as well. But what I learned from my mentors a long time ago is that if you have knowledge, skills, or expertise that can help somebody else that they themselves don't have, you are qualified to teach them. And so that allowed me to remove all that, oh, the nerve of me to go and do this, you know, after just a few months. That removed it for me. I was like, okay, I know how to invest in real estate. I did it myself. I had a positive outcome. This person over here does not know how to do it, so I can teach them, and they can get a positive result. And with that mindset shift, I called myself the real estate investment queen. Now, there were people who were hot about that. Other real estate investors in the area who've been doing it for years and years longer than I. Things got nasty. We had people come to our seminars, tape them, record them, go and do their own seminars. But let me tell you something about pricing. This brings me back down to pricing. So number one, I want you to get out your head that you need a number of years experience to do what you do. If that's holding you back, you need to stop. Okay? If you can help people right now, then you go and help him. You start worrying about how many certifications you have, what experience you have. All right? Stop that. That's number one. Number two is I told you I had the highest price program in the area. And anytime you're thinking about where you want to position and price your business or price your products and services, being the highest is really the best place to be. All right? Being the highest price at anything is the best place to be because of perceived value. Think about your own habits when you're going to buy something and you see someone offers a middle tier and a low tier and a high tier. 9 times out of 10, you're going for the highest tier because you feel like that's where you want the most value. Okay? And so that's where I want it to be. I want it to be the highest tier so people would feel like, oh, I have to go over here. Plus, I valued what I did. I valued the results I could give people. I was increasing people's net worth by $200, $300. $200,000, $300,000, I'm sorry, $200,000 and $300,000. So would you give me, and I was at that point doing $6,500 for a 3-day event, would you give me $6,500 if I could make you $300,000 increase your net worth by that? Of course you would, and that's what was happening, so it's all very relative. But what the competitors who were stealing things were doing is they would come to the events and they would see what I was doing at the events. However, they didn't know the marketing that I did behind the scenes. And where I was, you know, advertising to get the free CD first, these particular people would say, just come out to the seminar. They didn't get the list building thing. So they would go on the radio and spend big money on the radio and tell people just to come to the seminar. And they would model what they saw me do on stage. They would do the whole thing, but not knowing the stuff behind the stuff and what really goes on with marketing behind the scenes. And so you really don't know people's business models unless they let you in. You can copy. You can opt into people's lists. Try to copy what they do, but until you learn marketing yourself, you will never understand everything they're doing. And that's why it doesn't work to keep opting into people's lists, trying to get their free stuff and build your business based off of all of their free stuff. It doesn't work. I know many of you tried. I tried it before too. I try to do the same thing, but it doesn't work. So good marketers, you're never going to know their model until you really become a student of marketing yourself. Has anybody done that? See, I'm being very transparent and clear. I need you guys to, I can't be the only one giving up on the secret. Has anyone else tried to build their biz from opting into people's lists and getting their free stuff and doing what, I can't type today, and doing what you see them doing, because I sure did. Okay, so if you're one of the people who's trying to build your business from opting into people's lists, getting, all their free stuff, and kind of watching what they do and seeing what they're doing. We've all done it at some point. I need someone to be honest and tell me that I'm not the only one who did that. And if you guys don't, you guys are lying. Okay, thank you, did not work, absolutely. If there's anybody else who's on the webinar and you're just joining the webinar, this is taking place in my Facebook group. All you have to do is search for Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneur Group on Facebook, and you can join the group that way. We'll let you in. We're having a good time in here. Yes, people are like, guilty. Thank you, Maria. Stephen said he still does it. Thank you for being honest, Stephen. Joanna says yes. She says yes. She's ended up spending more money anyway. Yes, Demetrius, it doesn't work. Exactly. Exactly. Tony said, of course, yes. I think everybody's done it. Isn't it so good to free ourselves of all our secrets here? Yes. Yes. Thank you for all this participation. Yeah. It doesn't work because if we think about it conceptually, if it were that easy, we'd all be rich, right? We just all opt into all these great people's lists, and we become instantly rich like they were. But it doesn't work. So it's like, why do we do this? Okay. So that's important. That's important. So, you want to kind of, it's great because some people give out some great stuff. I know I have some great resources from free that people can get as well. I try to give great value, great content. And yes, there are things I give away that if you follow them, you can make money from them. And other people have stuff set up that way too. But it can't be the only thing. People like myself, people like other people that you see and admire, can't give you everything that they've spent time and years and money learning themselves. They can't give it away to you for free. No one can run a business like that. Whatever it is that you want, when you want to be an attorney, okay, you have to go to law school. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go to medical school. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to learn from somebody who has a formula for making that happen for you, okay? You have to invest in learning how to do it. It's no different. It's specialized knowledge. It's not a degree, but it's specialized knowledge that you have to invest in getting from someone else because the free stuff doesn't always work. Okay, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up spending more time and money that way. All right. So what happened is that these people, this is basically what these competitors were doing. They would come to my presentation. They would walk like me, talk like me, say the things I said, do what I do. They'd hear me on the radio, and they would copy the things that they felt were easy. To them, they would say, well, I don't know why she's going through making CDs and having to mail them out just to get someone to come to a seminar. I'm just going to tell people to come out to my seminar. And they did it for about, I would say, a month before they went out of business, because not only did they skip the most important step, which was list building, because they had no clue that that was important, but they tried to do what a lot of people try to do, and some of you may have done this as well, is they tried to undercut my pricing. Well, if she's charging $6,500, I'm going to give them the same thing for $2,500, and watch all the people come to me now who couldn't afford to go to her or who think that's outrageous. They're going to come to me, and that's how I'm going to make this business work. Well, I charged what I charged because I knew what it took to run that kind of business. Okay, I knew what it took to do that. There was some behind-the-scenes planning that went into that price point, and this person thought that they could do exactly what I was doing and undercut the price. And they didn't last for more than a month because it was too expensive, and the money they were bringing in didn't work, and it just fell apart, and it fell apart in a bad way. And I can honestly say that this person who did that came back later on and apologized and was like, wow. They basically admitted they fell flat on their face and that they would love to come and learn how to do things with me the right way. Of course, I'm not letting a person as unethical as that come and learn from me, but it's a story to show you that you don't want to be the cheapest price. So it's not a good position to be in. You need to know what your value is. You need to know what your expenses are, and you can't end up working for free. Lowering your prices to try to accommodate people who are not your target market will leave you broke. So if you're sick of bartering services for people, if you're sick of people asking you to lower your rate, I don't want you to do that. I want you to find out who your ideal client is, find out where those people are, and market to them. Don't devalue your services or your prices. Find the right client, all right? Because you don't want to end up in a position like these competitors did with me. They fell flat on their face. And I knew it would happen. And I said, well, let me just let this run its course. I know that's going to happen. But this is what happens when you go out and do things in a big way. People watch. They criticize. They want to steal from you. A lot of you have probably been in bad partnerships before. A lot of you have probably been stolen from before. It's all a part of the game. And what you do is you learn from it, and you learn how to move on and not repeat the same mistakes again. So this is basically, in a nutshell, how I built this multi-million-dollar business from my living room couch. Remember, I'm sitting there with the laptop on my lap doing all this stuff. But the success of that program was based on the marketing that I put behind it. And again, I tell you, I had people who, and I showed you already, I showed you how I've had people following me since 2006 and how I have faithfully been writing every single week, sometimes more. You get messages from me sometimes more than once a week, but I've been doing it with consistency since 2006. Now let me ask you a question. Do you honestly think I would be writing to a list since 2006 if I wasn't seeing the results from it? That's a lot of time and effort to get nothing in return. So clearly it works. Clearly it works. So if you are a person who has a list, you need to nurture that list, okay? And there's a way to do that. And you need to be consistent with your list because you have to build rapport with people. You have to build rapport for people. Because I'm going to tell you this. People buy from people they feel connected to, and they feel they get to know, like, and trust. Okay? People buy from people they feel connected to, and they feel they get to know, like, and trust. This is what people are making their buying decisions off of. Not always, oh, she's the best, he's the best at this, or he's the best at that. They want to feel some type of connection to you. And you can only do that through your writing and your list building and writing to your easing. All right? Very important. People, with all the scam artists out here today, people are sick and tired of being sold to. People feel like people are always trying to take advantage of them. People have got their arms crossed just waiting for you to do this, that, or the other. But if you can overcome those objections through your writing, that's half the battle. That's half the battle. That and understanding, again, that people aren't always going to jump right on board with you right away. But if you stay in their face every single week, emailing your list with some great content, reminding them that you're there, at some point when they are ready to go, you're going to be the person that they choose, all right? So you have to make a connection. You have to build a relationship. Yes, Tony. Yes, Jennifer. It's very, very important, okay? Very important. So start thinking about how you can connect more with people. Some of you think that you don't have anything to say, and you have a lot to say. You have a lot of stories to share. You have a lot of things that have happened to you that, yeah, they weren't so great, but they can benefit somebody else now. I never thought that I would tell the story of losing my baby the way that I do right now, but it ended up helping people. You know, I can help people find their fearless mode, as I call it, from sharing that experience. I also end up having a lot of women come to me who say, oh my gosh, and I saw some tonight, who say, I've lost a baby too, you know, and me being bold enough to share that story can provide someone else with comfort. But if I keep all these things to myself, I don't have that opportunity, okay? I don't have that opportunity. So that's how I kind of built that business. By becoming a student of marketing, investing with people. I invested with a lot of people out there. You heard me talk about Allie. I worked with Allie before. I also have other mentors right now. I work with James Malinchak from the past few years. And let me tell you something else. For those of you who may know my husband, Lloyd, I get a lot of people who discredit me and what I've done because they think that I have an edge up because my husband was into this marketing world and does internet marketing. My husband doesn't give me anything. He is like the busiest person in the world. I'm not his client. So if I'm not stroking a check, I'm not getting anything from him. All right? Now, if it were the case that, I have this great resource in Lloyd Irvin, for those of you who know his name, and he's big in the internet marketing world, if that were the case, I wouldn't have to invest with mentors. I've invested with Allie Brown before. I invest currently with James Valentine. You see pictures of me hanging out with James. I was just with James last night at the UFC fight. James and Jonathan Sprinkles, who's a great connection and motivational coach, both two very good friends of mine. We were hanging out at the UFC fights in LA just last night. However, I've worked with both of them. I've written checks to Jonathan. Just because James and Jonathan and I are friends don't mean when it comes to business we don't do business. However, I get people who say, why do you work with James? Why do you invest with all these people when Lloyd's your husband? It's because I don't get anything from Lloyd. If I didn't have to do it because Lloyd was going to be my mentor, then that would be great. But I don't get anything from Lloyd. He's a busy businessman with his own clients, his own businesses, and the dynamic doesn't work anyway. And so I invest with other people because that's what I have to do. It's just not that way. That's what I have to do. So it's so important, and people know that. Yeah, Jennifer, Jonathan Sprinkles. There's a picture of us on my my fan page. I guess you're a Jonathan Sprinkles fan. Two very good friends of mine, two great people in the entrepreneurial world. But I invest with them and I learn from them. And there's stuff that I do with Jonathan, that I do for Jonathan. And so we do a lot of things together. But the point is, I have my own set of mentors because they're the people that are making the money for me. Okay, they're the people that are making money for me. Very, very important. Now, I gave you a couple of key points here. List building, I know we see how important that is in nurturing that list, okay? And there's another thing that I want you to focus on. And I made a post about this, but it's very important. So many of us are creating products and services and programs based on what we think our target market needs, okay? And the aha moment is that people don't buy on needs. They buy on their wants, all right? So, yeah, it's true. There probably are some things that you think they need that they probably genuinely need. However, they don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. And it's not your job to assume you know what your market wants, okay? That's not your job at all, all right? Never, ever assume you know what your market wants. Yes, Jennifer, it's all about their desires. So one way that you can accomplish figuring out what your market wants is to survey them, all right? There's plenty of free survey tools that you can use. SurveyMonkey, Poll Daddy is just a couple of them. There's a lot more out there that you can design questions that will give you the information you need, okay? Case in point, I asked you guys a simple question. What was your #1 challenge in your business? And you guys told me. And guess what? This whole webinar is designed on what you gave me. I didn't come in here and say, oh, I'm going to give a webinar on what I think everybody needs because I know what they need. No, I did not. I asked you your #1 challenge. You gave it to me. I looked at it. I analyzed it. And I designed this entire webinar off of what you gave me. You did the work for me. How do you like that? And that's what I want you to do with your own following, okay? Ask them what it is that they desire. What do you want? And then you go and create your webinars or your teleseminars or your coaching programs or your 4-week program, whatever it is, you go and create them based on the desires of your market. That's how you can get paid. Okay? Because too many of us have done this the opposite way. We started saying what we know people need, and we go and we create all these courses, and we pay for them to be designed, and we order them, and we have them sitting up in a stack in our garage, and then we go and launch this program, and nobody buys. Nobody buys because you were off the mark. What you were saying that they needed, they didn't want it. They didn't want it, and you're stuck with that bill, okay? Not cool, not cool. So let me write this right now. Design your products and services based on what your market tells you they want, not what you think they need. Got it? I gotta make sure you guys got this. All right, I need feedback here. Design your product and service based on what your market tells you that they want, not what you think they need. I need to know that you guys grasp this concept before I move forward. Simone, thank you. Tabitha, thank you. Let's go. I'm not moving on until I get you guys to let me know you got this concept because it's important. All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I need to know you guys are with me. I'm going to keep reminding you that I'm at Disneyland putting everything on hold so I can have a webinar. Who does that? Someone's looking at me like I'm nuts. Thank you. Thank you. I need to know that I'm engaging you guys and I'm giving you some good information here. There's some people trying to join the group. Let some people in here. All right, that person's already in there. Okay. All right, if you're just joining the webinar, we are having the webinar on my Facebook group called Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurs. If you search Facebook for Vicki Irvin and Entrepreneurs and you want to get access, I will let you in. I'm doing everything live in real time. Thank you guys for participating and letting me know I'm not talking to myself. This is excellent. Good. Good. We still have a lot of people on the call. And I still want to get more responses. I want to get participation from everyone. So this is important, all right? This is important. Now, a couple of things here. There is some self-sabotage going on because when you're trying to figure out why you're spinning in circles and why your business isn't progressing to the level that you want. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your feedback. This is great. Why you're trying to figure out why you're spinning in circles and your business isn't at the level that you know it could be, but you're like feeling like you're right on the brink, it's because of self-sabotage, all right? And it's because of mindset. Now, I can tell you right now that when I first got started in business, I hated talking about mindset. I hated when anybody would talk about mindset and did you read Think and Grow Rich and did you do this? I didn't want to bother with any of that stuff. But I quickly realized that until you get your mindset right as an entrepreneur, everything else is going to fall apart. You could have all the technical knowledge you want. You could know how to build a list in your sleep. You could know all these concepts like the back of your hand. But if your mind is not strong, and if there's not some shifts that you make in your thinking, it's not going to work, and there's going to be some self-sabotage going on, okay? One big thing that I find for a lot of entrepreneurs, and some of this stuff is cultural, and that's just the truth, it's how we're raised and what people are into, is that we have a hard time investing in ourselves. When it comes to investing in a coaching program, a course, or going to an event, we have a way of talking ourselves out of why we don't need to spend money on those things, and that's, I say spend that way because that's not spending money. That's investing in learning something that you want to do. You have this business that you've been at for years, yet you won't invest in learning how to do things the right way or getting that one piece of information you need that's going to, get you to the top. However, when it's time for the annual vacation, it's a no-brainer that you're going to buy an airline ticket, that you're going to book that hotel room, that you're going to buy some new clothes to go out when you go out of town, that you're going to do your girls' night. It's a no-brainer. You don't even have to sit there and talk to yourself about it. It's easy to do that. And you have to stop thinking that way. See, going on fancy vacations and stuff, that's not an investment. That is indeed spending money because you don't get a return on investment. In fact, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up further in debt doing that. 10 times out of 10, you're going to be further in debt doing that, all right? But whatever goes on in our brain, it allows us to easily spend money on things like fancy vacations or the new pair of shoes that we want or the designer glass, whatever it is, getting the nails or the hair done at certain intervals that we do like clockwork. That's a no-brainer for us. But when it comes to investing and getting what you want, your mind starts to do this whole other thing. I don't need that. I don't need to do that. I'll figure it out on my own. I can do it on my own. Oh, I don't know about that seminar. I don't know about that course. I don't know about that event. I'll just keep opting into people's stuff for free. That's self-sabotage that goes on that I find is a huge, huge barrier to a lot of people moving forward in business. Now, I know this for a fact because I used to do the same thing. So for those of you saying, yeah, that was me, I used to do the same thing. I would talk myself out of why I don't need to do certain things. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Because I started looking at it this way, and I hope this helps someone here. I started saying, if all these successful people that I'm looking up to and I admire have these great businesses that I aspire to have one day, especially our competitors. We always have competitors people who are doing the same thing that we're doing, who are really doing it well and are really making money, and we kind of look up to them. We all have admirers. To be our secret admirers, no one has to know we're admiring them. It doesn't matter. But if you look at them, they have mentors too, and they're always at events, and they're always in coaching programs. Besides having their own, no matter how big they get on their own, they have their own mentors. See, I've never invested with anybody who didn't have their own mentor. Anyone who doesn't have a mentor, they can't do anything for me. You can't tell me to invest in you when you don't invest in yourself. That is totally incongruent to me. And so I want you to start looking at things that way. All the people that you see that are successful, that's something that they have in common. There's many, many success traits of successful people that are common things. And one of them is they self-invest all the time. It is a no-brainer for them, okay? It's a no-brainer for them. So why do we think that we don't need to do it? Why? It's the self-sabotage again. And a lot of times what happens is that for a lot of us culturally, we don't grow up in settings where we have family members and people who are all about self-investment. Beyond going to college, if a lot of us tell our mom, our dad, our sister, our brother that we're going to a seminar or event, they're like, what are you talking about? You're going to an event for what? To learn what? They don't get it, okay? And then there's people who come from families where there's a bunch of people who have been in investment. Oh, yes, that's great. Oh, yes, go get that skill set. That's wonderful. And that's just how they were brought up. That's their family. That's their culture. But it's not for a lot of us. And so we're kind of in a bubble by ourselves, and it's a hard jump for us. So that's why I say there's a poverty mindset and there's a wealthy mindset. And it has nothing to do with the money that you have in your bank account. A wealthy mindset thinks like a wealthy person. A wealthy mindset starts to do things that wealthy people do, even if they don't have it yet. Even if they don't have it yet, okay? So when you talk about buying a self-help book and you talk yourself out of buying a book that could change your mindset, that could give you something positive, that could give you the motivation you need to go on, you'll sit there and hem and haw about buying a $12 book, but you'll go out and have dinner and drinks with your friends and end up spending $60 there. Again, I'm just giving you real-life examples because I see it all day, every day. Some of the stuff I'm giving examples from because it's me. I'm being very transparent. I didn't wake up knowing all this stuff. I spent so much time doing things the opposite way and talking myself out of it. So I'm using examples of things that I would see myself doing. Why won't I buy this book that I know could help me and read it? But if somebody calls me and say, hey, let's go for dinner, dancing, and drinks, oh, not a problem. And I'm throwing my credit card out there. I'm putting my money on the table. Why is that? And I want to know that I'm not alone with that mindset. Does anyone else struggle with this? Struggle with this thinking, the self-sabotage. And it's this oddest thing. It's the oddest thing. And I can't totally explain it because I'm not a psychologist, obviously, but I know that I've become aware of it, and that's what helps me to get past these types of self-limiting beliefs, all right? Self-limiting beliefs. So I need to know, does anyone else struggle with thinking about things that way? You're probably sitting there going, oh, my gosh, that is so true. I will not miss a vacation. But if someone says come to an event, when I know that I need the stuff that's at the event, I find a way to make it so I can't go. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's so easy. Marcia says, I do. She says, I can't afford investing because I'm not working. This is good. I appreciate you guys being honest. Yeah, it's easy to do. But that's why I say I could give you all the technical knowledge that you need, but until you change your mindset about stuff like this, it's a self-sabotage comes into play, and all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. So that's why the mind has to be really, really strong when it comes to being an entrepreneur and getting the things that you want and that you need to make your business successful. It's so important. It's so important. Yes, like people are being honest here. I know some aren't going to tell the truth, but yep. Yep. Maisha says she's been guilty of it a lot lately, talking herself out of it. Ollie says, yep, all the time. He said he could spend $1,000 on his wife, but not $500 to go to my husband's seminar. Ridiculous. Ollie, thank you for being so honest. Yeah, thank you guys. But see, what's good about this is it's getting us to think about it differently. It's getting us to admit it, and it's getting us to say, why do I do that? And that's kind of like the first step. It really is being aware of what you're doing, because sometimes you're not aware of how you're doing it. And so what I have to do a lot of times with my coaching students is say, okay, let's be serious. What are you really doing with your time and with your money? How are you really spending it? And it's a very eye-opening exercise that people go, oh my gosh, this is all a mindset thing. You're so right, you know? You're so right, because I live the mindset that people can do whatever they want to do. Like, yes, some people are in situations, I understand, where there's absolutely nothing they can do. But a lot of us, when we say we can't, I can't afford, it's not true. It's that your mind is not thinking like a wealthy mindset, and you're somehow saying, I don't need to, I'll figure it out one day on my own. But we've already admitted that we're spinning in circles earlier. You've already admitted you're spinning in circles, and this is one of the reasons you won't invest in getting what you need, and you're talking yourself out of it, and you're getting into that whole self-sabotage thing. Very, very important. Okay. I appreciate you guys being honest with it. I mean, I've worked with so many people that I know all these common things that we have to go through. So it's really, really important. So just some other stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about. We want to go back to the common theme of building a list. There's another thing I wanted to add in there about the list building. I saw some people, when we talked about list building, I was asking about the challenges on the group page over the course of the week, who are saying that they have a list, that they have people they need to add into their list, they have to be consistent. So we have people who don't have a list at all. We have people who have one, but they're not communicating consistently, which is definitely not good. I mean, the list is going to be, at some point, you can't let your list get cold. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. So we got to get your list warmed back up again. And there's some people who have a list, but I want to ask people, how are you growing your list? Now, I'm of the mindset of this. Some of the systems out there, like Aweber, Infusion, there's Constant Contact, there's Eye Contact, there's different systems that hold all your contact information. And systems have different rules depending on what company you go with to house your stuff, like Aweber versus Eye Contact or whatever. And so this is what I do. I use Aweber, I use Infusion. I use two different systems. But what I like to do is have people voluntarily opt in to my list. Okay? I don't like to just put people on my list, because I want for the people who join up with me and follow me and subscribe to me, I want for them to genuinely want to be there, or to at least give me a try on their own. I don't mind if people opt out of my list. People opt out of my list every day. It may not be for them. They may not be my target. They may not have a connection with me. That's perfectly fine, because I know a lot of you guys get mad at people when they opt out of your list. I used to get mad at people too. How dare they opt out of my list? But opting out of the list is a good thing, okay? It's just weeding out your list and making it more targeted. So you only want people who want to be there in the first place. So I like for people to voluntarily come to me, give me their contact information, and want to be there. That, to me, is a person who sees what I do, they know my expertise, and that means they have a need for something that I have. They have a want for something I have. They have a desire to get what it is that I do or I teach. So that's a targeted process. Now, some of the systems that you use, some of you are using like Constant Contact, they allow you to put people in yourself, which the systems I use don't allow you to do, really. So what's happening with a lot of people who use systems like Constant Contact is that you're going out and you're meeting people at various networking events, and you're exchanging business cards and everything, and you're taking all the cards that you get, and you're putting these people's information into your system, and you're calling them your list. And what happens is that a lot of these people don't want to be a part of your list. They didn't give you their business card or information for that reason. Unless you asked them and unless you told them, I'm going to add you to my list, that's one thing. But what I'm finding is that a lot of people are just adding people to their list on their own, and then people are opting out because they didn't want to be here. And let me tell you how I know. How many of you get added to people's lists and you don't even know how you got there, and you're pissed off about it and you opt out? And I'm going to ask that question because this is what you could be doing the same thing to other people. How many people get mad when they end up on someone's list they didn't sign up for? Okay, answer that question. How many people get mad when you end up on someone's list you didn't sign up for? You open up your email and you're like, what the heck is this? I didn't sign up for this. What are they talking about? And then you just get mad and you unsubscribe and you may send a nasty message like, did not sign up and don't add me to your list anymore. Okay, let's be honest. How many people get mad? Look at that. Guilty. Olivia said this just happened to her today. Yes. Yep. Tabitha said she gets pissed off. Yeah. Manny said it happens all the time. So, if you are, keep them coming. You guys know I need the participation. Keep it coming. So if you guys know that this is something that you get mad about when it happens to you, if you are adding people who give you their cards and their information without them knowing you're adding them to their list, they feel the same way. They feel the exact same way, okay? So that's why I'm a person who is more for letting a person voluntarily opt in themselves, because to me, that's a more targeted person anyway, because let me tell you what's happening here is you're getting caught up in quantity versus the quality of your list. You hear people talk about got to build a big list, got to build a big list, got to build a big list. Yes, we want our list to be as big as possible. However, it's better to have a more quality list than it is to get caught up in a numbers game where you're adding people who don't have an interest in what you do anyway. That's a waste of time. What's the point in having them on your list if they're never going to buy anything from you? What's the point in having them on your list if they're not your target market? It's pointless. It's just making you feel good to see your numbers go up, okay? So I want you to start thinking about ways that you can get people to come to you voluntarily and get on your list, because it's a much more highly targeted prospect. You have a greater chance of turning that person into an actual customer because they are genuinely interested in what you do. Okay? So don't get caught up in the numbers. I do not want you to get caught up in the numbers where you are just taking every single business card you get, and you're going out to all these networking events, and you get home and you're spreading those cards out like a madman, and you're inputting all those people. Most of the time it's a waste of time because you just admit it. Look at all of you. Look at all of you admitting how annoying it is. Okay? You don't want to just end up on someone's list when that's not what you gave them your information for. Okay? Very, very important. All right? So this is what we do to make that happen. What we do is on our opt-in pages, on our web pages, we actually have systems in place that when people come to our site, we're offering them something in exchange for their name and email, because people aren't just going to go to your website and fill in their name and email without you giving them something. It's like you almost have to entice them, okay? You have to entice them. So what you will see that I do is I have people come to my site. I offer them, free CDs. I offer them free reports. I offer them my list building secrets guide. I know that Bonita, my assistant, actually posted the link. Some of you went and took advantage of that. But you had to opt in to get it. Okay, you had to opt in to get it. I tell you what you're going to get, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But I offer them, and that's what we call our widget. We call that a widget. What do you have to give to people in exchange for them giving you their name and email? Okay? Is it a free report on what you do? Is it a free 15-minute consultation? Is it a free audio recording that they can download? Is it a free report on the top 5 mistakes in your industry that you want them to avoid? Okay? And a person who says, oh, yeah, I want that, they're a person who's interested in what you do, and they're a person who's giving you the information to get it, and so they're giving you permission to email them. Okay, they're giving you that permission, much more targeted lead, and now you're giving them some great content too. So now you're giving them a chance to sample you and who you are and what you do for absolutely free. Absolutely free. For them to read what you have, to read your free report and say, oh my gosh, she's talking directly to me. This is so good. What else does he or she have? All right? And that's how we do that's how we start the whole list building thing. All right? We want very targeted people to come in and get on our list and to genuinely want to be there. And for those of you who get, worried about people opting out of your list, again, that's just a way of cleaning up your list. All right? That's just a way of keeping it clean, keeping it fresh, and keeping people there who really want to be there. Anyone who opts out, that's fine. I get people who opt out of my list sometimes, and their reason why, because you can put a reason. Sometimes they say too many emails. Okay, that's not a problem for me. It doesn't work for them. That's cool. Or some people say, I don't have time to read, I'm too busy. The person who's too busy to read great information you're giving them that could help them is probably not that highly motivated anyway, so it's okay for them to leave my list. I don't have a problem with that. Okay? I do not have a problem with that. All right? So I want you to start thinking about the way that you do that, and when you get a second, and I am in the middle of, I'll go to this one here. I'm in the middle of revamping some of my stuff, and I know Benita posted this before. But when you get a chance to take a look at one of my pages where I drive traffic to, you don't have to opt in if you don't want to, but I give away a lot of great stuff. It puts you on my list for my weekly evening. I give away some amazing audio recordings with some great people on some great topics, and my list building secrets guide. You can get 25 strategies there. But I want you to go there more for instructional purposes to see how I entice people to give me their contact information. And you can do just name and email. You can do full contact information. When I do my list building secrets guide, which you can get at this www.superwomanlifestyle.com, is I have to get your full contact information to be able to mail it out to you. So that's a way for me to build my full contact list, because I don't just market online. I market offline too. Okay, I market offline too. And so that's another thing I want you to understand, that your business can't just be online. All right, there's other places to talk to your target market besides online. Online is so crowded, everybody. How many people wake up every day with a crack load of emails in your box? You have so many emails in your box every single day, right? And you decide which ones to read by looking at the subject lines, what catches your eye, what sounds interesting, and you delete everything else. So a better place to go and talk to your target market is to send them something. You can have postcards sent out very, very cheaply, made online, amazingmail.com. There's so many things that you can do, and send people stuff, because people aren't marketing to people in the mail anymore. People have an aversion to marketing offline now because they think the internet is the end-all be-all, but it's not, because you have to get your emails opened. I heard a lot of people complaining about not being able to get their emails opened, right? And one of the reasons for that is because the email is so flooded, and people are like, oh, all these emails again. So what do you do as a marketer? You go and talk to people in a space that nobody else is talking to them. And one way you can do that is by building a full contact list, where you're getting people's full contact information. And systems like Aweber, they don't take those. Infusion does take full contact information. So I'm just putting this up here as an example. When you get a second to see how I'm enticing people at superwomanlifestyle.com, how I'm kind of enticing people to come and give me their contact information. If you want the list building guide, I'll mail it out. I'm building my full contact information because I like to do offline mailing for some of my stuff and talk to people in the space where I'm the only one. I don't have to compete with anybody in the mail because I know most people aren't going to mail people, but I will, and I'll be there all by myself. So you want to start thinking about ways that you can market offline and build an offline full contact list as well. That's another little tidbit for you. Very, very important. Okay? So you can do that to take a look there. I just didn't want to, I don't want anyone to think that it's all about just online, online, online. It's not always just about online. It's not just always about online. There's other places to talk to people. Very important. Okay? All right. So we talked about some of the list building issues and the communication, how important it is, and talking to your target market and being in tune with what your market wants. Okay, and being in tune with what they want, very, very important. Building up that rapport with them and offering them great content for free, you know, giving them something of value, because people want a chance to sample you first. People aren't just going to go in their purses or in their wallets and say, oh, you know, here you go. I see you're marketing this thing, here you go. No, they want to sample you first. So give them some great value. Give them something for free. Start communicating with them every week. Give them a free report. Give them a free ebook, something they can download. all right? These are what we call different widgets, different things you can get to entice people to give them a chance to sample you so that they want to do more things with you. They want to do more stuff with you, okay? More stuff with you. Thanks, Monique, for repeating that website for me, superwomanlifestyle.com, okay? So that's important. Maisha wants to know the site for postcards, amazingmail.com, amazingmail.com. You can do stuff through the post office. They'll design stuff for you. I mean, it's so much stuff you can do very cheaply and talk to people in different spaces. But you got to start diving into marketing offline too, because it's just not the marketing just to people online is not the way to go totally. You never want to rely on one of anything in your business. You know, so many people are just relying on social media and they're frustrated because it's not working. You have to really learn how to monetize social media. There's ways to do that. Otherwise, you find yourself spending a lot of time and energy on it with not a whole lot to show for it. Okay, with not a whole lot to show for it. But you have to have other ways of marketing your business besides Facebook, besides Twitter. They're all just medias that you use. Medias are ways of marketing your business, whether you do radio ads or regular ads or postcards or social media. It's just another way of getting the message out about who you are. But I don't want you to put everything into one way of marketing your business. Okay, I don't want you to do that. Now, another thing that I have is that I know you guys had a lot of questions about systems things. I know that the opt-in pages and the websites and the squeeze pages, and a lot of you are held back in your business because of technical systems things that you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so not technical, I can barely turn on my computer. I get it, because I don't know how to do those things either. I don't want anyone to think that I'm sitting there doing my own pages, doing my own opt-in pages. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I personally don't have a desire to know how to do that stuff. I am of the mindset that I need to focus on the marketing of my business, and I need to let the people where that is their expertise handle those things for me, okay? Handle those things for me, very important. So in a little bit, we're actually going to talk to Lenny, because Lenny is my behind-the-scenes systems guy who does a lot of my pages for me. He's a whiz at this stuff. And the things that he does show me I can do myself, like WordPress blog stuff, and creating, using optimized press, which was designed for the average non-techie person like you and I to be able to do our own pages. He's great at showing me what I can do myself, and then the things that I don't want to dive into and do myself that are too time-consuming that I need to let a professional do. He's great at doing that. So we're going to talk to him, because I gave you guys a chance to ask your techie questions that have you pulling out your hair, because I know for a fact that a lot of your businesses aren't running on systems the way that they should be, because you lack knowledge in that area, and your lack of knowledge in that area is holding you back, because somehow, some way you convinced yourself, I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to avoid doing it. And you're finding everything else in the world to do, and you're not taking the time to build your business on a system. And that's another reason why you're not profiting the way that you could be. You have to build your business on systems, okay? So we're going to talk to Lenny in a second. But I want to stop for a second, and let's see. I want to ask you guys a question just to make sure I'm on the right track. Are you getting good value from this so far? Let me know, so I know if this is kind of along the lines of what everybody's looking for. I just need to know. So I'm going to wait for you guys to let me know if you're getting good value here. Thanks, Kimberly. Good. I hope so, because I told you I'm answering your question. You guys gave it to me. Awesome. Keep letting me know if you're getting good value. We're coming up with 10 minutes. We will have been on 2 hours, so we're rocking and rolling. I told you, don't hold me to any time frames. I'm out here. I just want to take my time and give you everything that I have and just rock and roll. And as entrepreneurs, we can't be so stringent all the time. We just got to sometimes go with the flow. Good. Good. Good, 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 good. Oh, Brenda said, prayers answered with this webinar. Great, Brenda. I know you were looking forward to it. I'm glad to hear that I'm delivering. Thank you, Pam. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Lorraine. Thank you, Joyce, Nate, Manny. Oh, my gosh. Thank you guys so much. Good. Just let me know if I'm on the right track. That's perfect. Hey, Mr. Schmoot. Hey, Mr. Schmoot. My neighbor's on the call. Hey, Mr. Schmoot. Mr. Schmoot, make sure nobody's tampering with my house next door while we're out here in California. Awesome to have your neighbor on your webinar. Cool. Thank you, Simone. Yes, thank you, Sherry. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Sounds good. Now, one other thing I wanted to touch on before we kind of get into some of the technical stuff, and I'm going to pass stuff to Lenny. Lenny's back out in Maryland and everything, is that I wanted to talk about time management, because time management was another common thing that came up for you guys. And I know how difficult it can be. You know, I built my whole business talking about balance and everything. Time management is important. And it's a struggle for all of us. It's a struggle for me every day. And I know that with a lot of people who still may be working their 9-to-5 job and they're trying to crank up their business on the side, their own thing on the side, it gets rough when you start bringing family into the equation, husbands, spouses, partners, whatever it is, children. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. And again, it goes back to mindset. And this is what I believe. And trust me, I have my days when I don't want to get out of the bed, but I'm going to tell you what helps me. Number one is keeping myself in the presence of like-minded people like yourselves. Keeping myself in the presence of mentors and people who give me accountability, who don't let me off the hook. Because at the same things I'm talking to you about self-sabotage and mindset, it's still a work in progress for everybody. Nobody has it down 100%. Okay, we get better, but it's still a struggle. Because self-motivation only goes so far. At some point, we all crash and burn, and we need someone else to push us. So one of the things that's worked for me really well, and this may be where you need to look at your inner circle and who you're spending your time with, whether it's family who's draining you or friends who aren't productive or friends who aren't encouraging or supportive, is you have to get in circles where you're dealing with other people who are on the same mission as you, because that's where you're going to get your motivation. When you start to run out of it on your own, you're going to get pumped up by other people. It happens with my husband. He is good at saying, you know, why are you in the bed? Don't you have things to do? When I start to stuff, he's like, get up. Get up. And I need that. Because if he wasn't there to say get up and keep going, I just want to lay there sometimes because I'm tired. I mean, look what I'm doing right now, a webinar. I mean, I flew yesterday from D.C. to L.A., off the plane, straight to a UFC fight, hanging out afterwards, and this morning coming over to Anaheim to take my son to Disney, you know, and here I am going out to the park for a little bit at Disney and then saying, okay, guys, we got to go back because I have a webinar, and then after the webinar, because they stay open late here, I'll go back out with my son and my husband. Now, that sounds crazy, and that's not something that most people would do. But I don't want to do things that most people want to do. I want to be extraordinary in life because we have a choice. We can either be ordinary or we can be extraordinary. And ordinary for me means blending in with the crowd, going with the status quo, and being normal. And that's boring to me. But when you start moving into being extraordinary and doing big things, you start to do things that people tell you are crazy. So if you're on the webinar right now and you have people who've been telling you, oh my gosh, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're on the right path. Being told you're crazy is good because it means you're not doing things that are normal. You're not blending in with the crowd. You're not doing what the status quo would do. And to get to the top, to be successful, because there's so few people who are there, that you have to do these odd things to get there. You know, you have to do the things that make people call you crazy. And that's how you know you're moving the right way, you know. And to be extraordinary, you have to take risks, and you have to just throw it out there sometimes, and you can't calculate your every move, and you have to move with speed, and you have to do things with fast action, fast implementation. One of the first things I learned from my mentors, everything you do has to be done with speed. Otherwise, you're going to look up and you're going to be spinning in circles, spinning years and years trying to get things done, and it's not going to work. You're going to be waiting for the perfect time, and there is no perfect time. It's never going to be perfect. Just do it. My husband does have this thing that I love. He says, throw some crap on the wall and clean it up as you go away. And I've done that many times. I've planned things, I've announced things, I've launched things, and they weren't even together or ready yet. And I was just doing it to see if anybody would say, yes, I want to do it, or yes, I want to come. And when people started saying yes, I'm like, oh, crap, I don't even have this thing done. Look at all these people who say they want to come to my event. But then you know what that forces me to do? It forces me to go and pull the daggone event together, because now I got people who take me and want to come. And when you start working that way as an entrepreneur is when you start getting stuff done quickly, getting stuff done fast, moving in the right direction, all right? But if you sit there and say, well, I'm not going to announce this event until I have the website done, until I have the venue, until I have the dates, you are never going to do it. You're going to find a reason why it's not done. Oh, I'll do it next week. Form of self-sabotage, letting yourself off the hook. So go ahead and announce it first, and then do it behind the scenes when you start getting a response, okay? So I call it reverse engineering the whole process. Preston says he throws some crap on the wall all the time, and that's good, Preston, because you know you're going to show up. Once you put it out there, you can't back out, okay? So I want everyone to start reverse engineering that process. Yes, Tiffany, just do it. Very, very important. No, Tony, you're not crazy. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. And Tony has a great boutique out on the harbor, the National Harbor, and she's saying she thought she was crazy for doing that. And you're not. That's what you're supposed to do to get you moving. Otherwise, you're going to let yourself off the hook, okay? Yeah, Deborah, get that muscle built up. We got to do this. Okay? Okay? I'm glad you like that, Patricia. She says reverse engineering. Yeah, reverse engineer the process, because most people will say, like I said, I have to have this in place, and this in place, and then I'll announce it. And you look up and a year's gone by. And it's easy to let yourself off the hook that way. But when you reverse engineer, I'll say it one more time, when you reverse engineer how you begin to work as an entrepreneur is when you're going to start to see yourself moving forward, making moves, and getting a whole lot more done very quickly. Announce it, and then force yourself to show up, because people are coming now, and you don't have a choice. It's going to work like a charm. So if there's anybody out there who's been holding on and supposed to be doing something, you're looking up, a year's gone, whether it's writing your book or whatever it is, reverse engineer that process. Get it out there. Announce it, and then figure it out behind the scenes. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody has a clue, and they don't have to know. Nobody knows but you, okay? So when it comes to time management, my point is to do these things, to be extraordinary, you have to push harder than the average person. You know, they're nice that you're not going to get any sleep, but that's sacrifice. That's sacrifice to get to where you want to go, okay? Yeah, it's frustrating. You're going to have times you're burnt out, but when you're surrounded by people who can pick you up and push you, and you have accountability, is when you're going to be able to go even further and find that strength to push on. And you have to set boundaries with yourself. Now, I'm going to show you where you can get back a whole lot of time right now. I want you to take inventory for 1 week of how you're spending your time. I want you to look at how many text messages you're sending out. I want you to look at how much unproductive time you're spending on social media. I want you to take a look at how many phone conversations you're having with your girlfriends or guys. You guys like to chat it up on text all the time. Think about the unproductive conversations that you have. That time you can be getting back and putting into your business. So a lot of time when we say, oh my gosh, you know, I look up and the day is gone and I didn't have time to get to that, take inventory of what you are doing with your time for 1 week. And I bet you can find hours to get back. Hours. Stop answering the phone when people who are full of drama are calling you to talk about their latest problem. You don't have to do that. Okay? You have to start putting boundaries in place. And some of you are guilted into being that person who has to be there for everybody and has to listen to everyone's problems. No, you don't. That's manipulation. You don't have to do that. Okay? All these devices we have with technology and sticking our head in when we're out, we're on social media, on our iPhones and everything. There's so much time that we can get back. But you have to be honest and pay attention to how you are spending your time. And I guarantee you, you are going to find hours throughout the week that you can get back. And that goes for doing the things in your business that aren't producing you any income either. The busy work that I talk about, get rid of the busy work. You're doing the busy work to avoid doing the things you really need to be doing. And you're avoiding the things that you really need to be doing because you may not have knowledge in that area. You may not like doing it. It may be painful for you to do it, but those things you're avoiding are the things that produce the income. So whether it's getting the knowledge or the know-how to get those opt-in pages in place, to design and create products, whatever it is, stop the busy work that isn't doing anything for your bottom line and tackle those things you're avoiding. If it's knowledge is the problem, get the knowledge you need. Otherwise, again, you're going to keep spinning in circles, okay? Very, very important. So time management for 1 week, that's what I want you to do. Thank you for posting that, Kimberly, because I was actually going to talk about that. Kimberly just posted, she asked about where should you get a great website up and running, and Maxie was great to post freelance. And there's so many sites out there for entrepreneurs like us. Let's face it, as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we can't hire people to work for us around the clock. We don't really have assistants. We don't have, you know, payroll and all that stuff. how do we get this stuff done? We can't afford to have someone on a payroll working 40 hours a week, right? So one of the places that I like to go is elance.com. Anyone else use Elance? And there's other ones too. There's odesk.com, there's guru.com. But these are sites where you can get someone to do absolutely anything you need done in your business, whether it is opt-in pages or whether it is website stuff or whether it is stuff that, you know, linking up your list together, getting stuff written for you. There's so many companies out there that can do this for you so affordably, it's ridiculous. And what I want for everyone to do is to go, if you've never heard of Elance, a lot of you will have, I want you to go and create an Elance account and start looking, it's free, creating the account, and start looking at all the different professionals out there, all the different experts who are there to do stuff for you very cheaply. There's people working from all different countries who can get stuff done for you so affordably. I mean, it is like the entrepreneur, the solopreneur's best friend, okay? Marissa said yes, she loves it. Cashel probably uses, Manny's using it. Absolutely. This is like what we do when we can't afford to have people on payroll. Ashley loves odesk.com. Thank you for posting that, Ashley. Guru.com is another one. Very, very, very good. Yeah? Kimberly keeps saying I'm going too fast. Oh, that's her old post on Amazing Mail. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not going too fast. But Elance. Anyone else using Elance? Yep, a lot of people. Yeah, Tony, you're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done there. And then, yeah, Manny, anything you can think of, Elance people can do. Another great one is what, you guys? Fiverr. I always spell Fiverr wrong because they don't spell it like F-I-E-R-R, I think, .com. Let me see if that's it. I'm not sure if that's it. Someone test my website out for me. Fiverr.com is where you can get, I think it's 2 E's. Fiverr.com is where you can get a whole bunch of stuff done for $5. There's people on there who will do whatever you want for $5. They'll create banners. They'll create logos. They'll do press releases. Anything you want for $5. Thanks, Manny. It's 2 R's. F-I-V-E-R-R. Oh, that's what I had. Okay, that's probably it then. Yeah, Fiverr.com is where you can get a lot of stuff done for $5. I want you guys to go and look at all these sites. You're welcome, Olivia. You're welcome. Fiverr.com, Elance.com. This is going to make all the difference in your business. All those things you've been avoiding because you think you need to have a full-time person on staff or it's going to cost you so much money to do, go to Fiverr.com, go to Elance.com. They'll do websites. They'll design websites. They'll do press releases. They'll write e-zines for you. They'll do anything for you, okay? Anything for you. So I'm encouraging everybody to check out these sites. They're going to be your best friend. And that was probably worth the whole webinar right there for those of you who didn't know such resources exist for us. This is how I get so much done in my business. If you want someone to help you drive traffic, they can do it. When you get on there and see what these people do, you are going to be totally amazed. Marcia says she is fired up. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to give everybody that little piece of information there. Everybody's fired up about this now. Great. I had to give you guys something for not minding us going over. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. All right, let's see here. Okay. I wanted to make sure you guys got that. So time management, this is the stuff that's going to help you attack that busy stuff. Thank you for posting that, Tabitha, posted Fiverr there again. Make sure we got the website right. You're welcome, Edward, for all the golden nuggets. I'm sorry, Tony, Fiverr, not Fiverr.com. Tabitha posted it there, Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Wanted to make sure I tackled everything you said you had issues with. Okay, this is the last thing, and then we're going to rock and roll with some of this technical stuff that you guys are running from. Okay, we're going to work on that with Lenny, all right? And then we'll be good to go here. I wanted to talk about people who are worried about branding and differentiating themselves in the marketplace, okay? How many people, is this an issue for? Okay. How many people have branding and positioning issues? And when I say positioning, I mean how to position yourself in a market that's probably already crowded, because let's face it, most of us are in industries where there's a whole bunch of other people doing what we do. And so if you're having problems coming up with branding, how to position yourself so that you stand out from your competitors, how do you make people say, oh, let me go with him or her over that person? How do you make a person flock to you, you know? How do you not blend in with the crowd with your business? A lot of people struggle with branding issues. And I have to tell you that one of the top things that's a problem is that people are looking at, we're comparing ourselves to what other people are doing. Now, it's okay to do competitor research and to check out and see what other people in your industry are doing. That's a very wise thing to do. You always want to stay up on what people are doing, especially people who are successful, you know? Watch successful people you're supposed to. I totally agree with that. However, you have to figure out a way to get your message out to everybody. And you have to come up with your own unique system and your own model of doing it, okay? You have to come out with your own unique system and your own model of doing it and not fall back into what everybody else is doing, all right? So now what happens with branding a lot is that most people think that branding is all about hiring a graphic designer to make you a super cute logo that you just love, 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 and then coming up with this cute little catchy tagline to go with it. And you are like, by golly, I've got myself a brand. I've got this cute little logo, and I've got this catchy little tagline, and now this is it. This is my brand. That is not branding, okay? That is not branding. Branding is not about cute logos and taglines. Branding is about coming up with a way of positioning yourself in a crowded market so that you stand out. But there's two things you have to accomplish here. You have to be sure that your brand clearly conveys what it is that you do, okay? That your brand clearly conveys what you do so that people aren't left going, huh? I don't get it. I don't understand. What is it that you do? If you are causing confusion and people are always asking you to explain what you do because they don't quite get it, you have a branding problem, okay? Let me tell you something. I want you to write this down. A confused person will not invest or buy from you, okay? If you are confusing people, they will not invest or buy from you. You have a few seconds to capture someone's attention. Attention spans are short in this day and age, and people are on to the next thing in the blink of an eye. And if your branding is confusing people to the point that they don't get it, they are out the door. Okay, they are out the door. Now, people need to get an idea of what you do through your branding. All right, they need to have a clue as to what you do. So if you are at a networking event, and you're one of those people, and I talked about this at my Extreme Women Entrepreneurs event about a month ago now, if you're one of those people who at a networking event, you are afraid for people to walk up to you because they're going to ask you what you do, and you don't have a way to articulate it, and you kind of freeze up, and you kind of clench your butt cheeks together and pray that they don't stop and talk to you, you have a branding problem. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you panic, let me see, in a networking environment when people ask you what you do? And tell the truth. I want the truth, Ruth. Do you panic in a networking environment when people ask you what you do? Is it like this feeling of dread and like a sweat that comes over you because you kind of stumble and bumble through it? And even though you know what you do and you're good at what you do, you just can't quite communicate it for some reason. And so it gets to the point where you just don't even want anybody to approach you about it. Yes, thank you, Maria. Maria says she's like a deer in the headlights. Yes, some people are hiding in the corner, and they're like, please don't come over here and ask me anything because I don't know how to get this out of my mouth. Yes, yes, I know, I get it. Because I used to be like that, okay? I used to be like that too, like, please don't ask me because I don't know what I'm going to say this time, all right? And you first have to get very clear on the transformation that you provide to your clients and customers. What is it that you do that changes their lives? Because people are coming to you for solutions. Whatever your product or service is, people are coming to you to fix whatever they have going on, regardless of what your work is and what you do. They're coming to you to fix what they have going on. And so you have to have a way of clearly communicating how you bring a person from point A to point B. You have to clearly communicate how you bring a person from point A to point B. And you have to be able to do that through your branding, whether it's on your website, whether it's on an event page, whether it's on an opt-in page, whether it is in person. You have to clearly be able to convey what you do. And so many of us fall short in this area because we're not clear ourselves. And if we're not clear on how to articulate it, you can only imagine how they're left feeling. All right? So you have to get clear on what you do. You have to be confident on what you do. And you have to have this little spiel down pat so people get it. But after you're telling people what you do, if they're still kind of looking at you like, huh? Then you know that you've got to fix that. Then you've got to fix that. Okay? So when I talk about branding and positioning yourself in the marketplace, this is all a part of that, a small piece of it. Now, myself as a coach for entrepreneurs, teaching people marketing strategies and sales strategies and using, what I've learned over the years, what I've invested to learn and being able to build these businesses to where they are, I have to come up with ways to do the same thing. Now, you heard me talk about the real estate. When there were other people already out there doing real estate, I said, how can I make myself stand out from all the other real estate investors? I'm going to become the real estate investment queen, and I'm going to go on a mission to teach people in my community how to invest in real estate so they don't have to worry about all these big-name gurus flying in and out from other cities coming in to do it. They're going to have a local person in their own area who they know that they can see, feel, and touch. I'm not going to give them an 800 line. They're going to be able to see me and work with me, and I'm going to be able to walk them by the hand. I went and I covered all the objections I know go on in that particular industry, and I positioned myself as the real estate investment queen on a mission to help the people in my community so they no longer have to wait for all these big-name gurus to fly in and out and worry about them taking their money and never being able to get someone on the phone to answer their questions. That was a distinct, clear positioning that I did to make myself stand out from everybody else in my area who was investing in real estate, and it worked. Now, were we all teaching the same thing? Absolutely we were. But I found a way to make myself stand out from them so that people would flock to me instead of them. And it worked, okay? With my business, Superwoman Lifestyle, I created a mission and a movement for women. The pillars of Superwoman Lifestyle are business, beauty, and balance. Because I have found that working with predominantly women, some of the issues that we face before we can even get to business, we have to talk about time management and balance and all these things that a lot of the guys don't understand. And when women heard me harping on that, they flocked to that because, as you know, guys don't really touch on that because 9 times out of 10 in a household, the women, we're the ones doing all of that stuff with the children, taking them here, taking them there. And I'm not saying that's the case in every household, but for the most part, as the nurturers, women spearhead all of that stuff, and so balance becomes an issue. So even now when I work with some of my male coaches or whatever, they don't get, well, Vicki, why didn't you come to this? I was like, I just couldn't come that time because, my husband's out of town and the son, and they're looking at me like, bring the son with you. They don't get it. And so I realized that I had to create this thing where I let women understand that I know about feeling good about yourself inside and out, the beauty part. I know about the struggle with balance. And all these things have to come into play before we can even start to handle the business or have the time and energy we need to give to the business. And I celebrated women by calling them superwomen because that's what we are. That's what I believe. And women who are feeling the struggle of trying to manage all of these things and worrying about letting themselves go and not having the time for themselves and trying to do everything for their children but still have the time to work on their business, they felt that. Yeah, I am a superwoman too. So I created a movement and a connection for people, and I found myself to make myself stand out from all the other women who are teaching what I teach. Now, are there other women coaches out there? Yes. A lot of them are my friends. A lot of the big ones out there are good friends of mine, and they have their own branding and positioning. but this is my particular positioning that attracts a certain segment of the population to me through my message. Okay, so there are people who work with me because they feel like I get it. I get their struggle. No one else is touching on this stuff. No one else is acknowledging it. But I get the struggle as a mom and a wife trying to do all these things and wanting a successful business. I get it. So people connect with me through that. So that was my positioning in an already very crowded marketplace. Yes, there's other women coaches out there doing exactly what I do. But that's my particular positioning. Okay? So you have to come up with positioning for yourself, similar to those two examples that I gave you. Okay? Similar to that. All right? So I want you to start thinking about, are you focusing too much on taglines and logos? Because that's not the stuff. That's not a brand. That's not what makes the person want to work with you. It's the message behind what you put out there that makes the person want to work with you. See, some of you sometimes say, oh, well, you know, how do I distinguish myself from my competitors? You have to come up with a way to do that. Whatever they're doing, okay, look at what everybody else is doing and find a unique angle for yourself. Now, another thing that you can do is come up with your own packaging, all right? So I love to use this example. It's just one of my favorite examples to use. It's clearly communicated when I do. I sometimes end up working with a lot of life coaches, okay? There's a million life coaches out there, and they're all worried about, I don't want to be a life coach. I don't want to be called a life coach. That's what they say. I don't want to be called a life coach. There's so many life coaches. But I know a lot of life coaches making a lot of money because they found a unique way to brand themselves and they have their own model. So let me give you an example here. A lot of life coaches go to schools where they get certifications to be a life coach. And those schools have a model that they teach to life coaches on how they need to work with people. And so every time I work with a life coach, they would say, but this is what they taught me how to do. This is how they taught me how to teach people. And they were all teaching people the same way because they all were going to the same school and getting the certification. And I was like, who said this is what you have to do? If you're a person who can take a person from point A to point B and solve their challenges in life that are holding them back, why can't you come up with your own way of getting them to point B? You don't have to do it the way that they told you to do it. You know what I mean? If you have a better way, if you have a more authentic way that feels better to you and your style, come up with your own unique model and market that model so that you stand out from everybody else doing it the same way. And that made sense to them. They're like, you know, you're so right. You know, why do I have to do it that way? I have a much better way of getting them, you know, over the hump quicker. And so we would sit down and we would come up with their own model. Sometimes you do it through acronyms and you create your own 5-step process, your own 3-step process, your own 7-step process. But it starts to stand out, okay? And that's how you start to differentiate yourself from everybody else, all right? You want to, A, clearly communicate what it is that you do. Sometimes people come up with things where, like I said, people don't have a clue what you do. And anytime you're in a position where people are confused about what it is you do, after you talk to them, after they see your website or whatever it is, you have a serious branding issue that has to be fixed. All right? So you wanted to clearly convey what you do, and you also want to come up with your own unique model and way of bringing people from point A to point B. Okay? This goes for a lot of people in network marketing as well. All right? A lot of network marketers follow systems that are put in place by the companies, and that's fine, but if you have a unique way of helping people or getting people from point A to point B, you can infuse that and have yourself stand out from other people who are marketing the same products as you are. Tabitha Ricketts, who is a part of this group, is an amazing network marketer. No matter what business she happens to be working in, she makes a whole bunch of money in it because she's grasping all these marketing concepts and she's applying this style of marketing. She works a lot with my husband. She works with me. Direct response marketing stuff is what we call it. She applies this to her network marketing, and she stands out from everybody. And she's killing it. She's killing it because she gets that she doesn't have to follow the status quo. So for any other network marketers out there, you know, you can infuse these concepts into what you do as well. That's very important, okay? So I'm glad you guys told me you're getting a lot of great value, and I know I promised to bring Lenny in, and so now I have to kind of, Preston said, yes, Tabitha Ricketts is a machine, and that's from one network marketer to another, and he's acknowledging that. You know, he's in the industry, she's in the industry, and he sees what she's doing, and he's sitting here like, wow, she is a machine. So I appreciate that, Preston, and I'm just, you know, it just proves what I'm saying. No matter what it is you're doing, you take these concepts and you apply them to whatever it is that you're doing, okay? Whatever it is that you're doing, very, very important. So now, for those of you who want to tackle this stuff that you shy away from, I'm about to give you a taste of Lenny, who makes my life so easy. And, you know, some of this stuff is going to make so much sense to you after a while. And the things that you're shying away from, the things you're burying your head in the sand, and the things that are making it so that your business is not built out on systems, we have to get past that. You know, I can't have you guys wasting any more time going in circles because you're avoiding things just because you don't have the knowledge in that area. You're going to find out a couple things. One, some of the stuff is super easy. Two, the stuff that's not easy, there's somebody out there to do it for you very affordably. And he's going to answer some of those questions that you guys posted for him. That's why I was giving you a chance to actually write your techie problems, your systems problems, because you have to run your business on a system. You have to be able to go to sleep at night and know that there are people opting into your list. Okay? And there's a way to set up your business so that that happens. Every day that I wake up, there's new people who have joined my list on their own. Okay? I've created products so that people can go to my website and people can buy courses off of my website. When I get up every day, there's somebody who has bought something from me. If you have products that you need to get created, it's so easy to create products. I can show you how to create products. It's just so much stuff that you're just shying away from because you don't have the knowledge, but it's so simple. You have to have products. You have to constantly have material out there to help people, all right? If you're a coach, don't just coach people one-on-one. Create larger coaching groups so you can reach more people at one time. Package up your coaching model into a home study course so that people who want it can buy it off of your website. You have to divide these multiple streams of income into your business. You know, there's more than one way to make money in your core business, and you're leaving so much money on the table by not expanding. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to try to, and when I talk about not being technical, that's why I said try. I'm going to try to pass this over to Lenny, actually, so that he can tackle some of the questions, the techie questions that you guys have. Let me see if I can do this. Bear with me 1 second, and Lenny will handle the technical stuff for us. He's a great value add, and he'll be able to dispel a lot of these myths and everything. So, Lenny, I'm going to try to pass this over. Let's see.
All right.
I'm going to change presenter, make you the presenter. Yeah, you got to give it back to me afterwards, okay?
Do I have to?
Yeah, you got to give me the screen back after.
All right.
Recording here. Okay.
See me?
All right, Lenny, you got it?
See my mouse moving?
No. Let me refresh. Let me refresh.
All right, how about this? Can you see me?
Are you on this?
I am.
Can anybody see Lenny?
If you can see me, go ahead and post in the group under my message. If you can hear me and see me, go ahead and post.
Yes, I can see.
Right, cool.
All right, everybody else, make sure everybody can see Lenny. Can you guys see Lenny? Let them know you can see him.
All right. Hello,
All right.
hello. Hey, everybody. All right, cool, cool. All right, so I guess you guys can see me then. Great. All right, so what an awesome webinar so far. This is amazing. How long has it been so far, Vicki?
Oh, my gosh. We started at 8 o'clock. It's 10:30. Hi.
Good gracious. This is an amazing webinar. All right, so let's tackle some things. What's the first thing we're going to cover? Let's talk about the most important issues you're having, like the biggest things that are getting you away from getting, basically even just getting started. Whatever it is, let's go in. Let's fill it in here. Let's see. What are the top things? Go ahead and post that right there for me.
Systems related. What are the top things systems related in your business? Killing you right now.
There we go. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got so far. We'll refresh real quick. We got one. Auditing paperwork, all right. Is anybody there? You guys still there? Is this a part you guys just got bored and said, all
Oh,
right, I'm not.
yeah,
Okay.
there's an opt-in on our website. Yep, keep them
Right.
coming, you guys. Remember, to keep us rolling, you have to interact with us, because I can go back to Disneyland. Thank you. Now they're coming. Go ahead and refresh, Lenny. Yes, thank you, guys. You guys know you have lots of system questions. You're never going to have an opportunity to have someone answer you like this. This is a rare opportunity, so please ask away. Let's use Lenny up.
I guess obviously, building a website has always been a really big one. So we'll get to that one in a little bit. I want to see what else we have first. I see opt-in on the website. That's cool. Sharon, what specifically are you having troubles with? Do you just not know how to get started? Or what is it really? What's going on? What about Pam? Integrating email contact, blog, online store. Lots of stuff there. See, maybe I should refresh again. See what else we got. Oh, whoa, there's way more on here than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
They're rolling now. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. Backing up my info. Tony, what kind of info do you have? Is it like maybe on a WordPress or what is it really that you're trying to back up? See, Ali's economic way to creating a website and drive traffic. Marketing, good. That's all right, cool. Delivering MP3s automatically. All right, cool. Vicki, where do you think we should start first? There's so many on here. Creating sweeps pages, awesome.
I think explaining the whole opt-in thing, and then how you get, when people enter their name and email, where exactly does it go?
Okay, cool.
Because what I like to do, if everybody if it's okay with you, is that I think sometimes when you talk about technical stuff, a lot of people end up talking over our heads, and they talk that really technical knowledge, and we don't understand. So I like to not assume that anybody knows, portions of it. So I just want to go back to the basics and explain why we have the opt-in there, and when people enter their name and email, where it goes and what we do with it. So let's just start there first.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to be able to conquer all these on here, but that would take so long. Even simple ones or ones that I think are very simple, take at least 20, 30 minutes to just show. So, like you said, we'll start with opt-in.
Yep.
All right. So, what's the very first thing you think we should start with? Of course, they already know Aweber is a really good one. Eye contact is also a great one. Those two I think are my favorite. Besides, of course, Infusionsoft, they're really cool. Constant Contact's another one. But I guess just creating a list maybe or building a list.
Yeah, but this is the importance of how this is where the list building starts. Like we now get, and they told me that they get how important the list is. So for anyone who hasn't been building a list or not doing it the right way, when I talk about getting a page that you drive traffic to, and you offer people something in exchange for their name and email, it's not just any old page. There's a way to position things on your opt-in page that are going to make it so that 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the name and email, because not everybody's going to get it to you. But there's ways of positioning things on the page to make it enticing for people, attractive to people, and then once they opt in, it's going to Aweber and you being able to link them up. Because some people say, well, how do I link let's say I get Aweber or Constant Contact, how do I link it up from my opt-in page so that when people enter their name and email, it actually goes there? Like, people don't understand, that type of stuff.
Right. Okay, so should I tell them about that theme we use? Or you already mentioned it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Optimized Press?
Optimized Press.
All right, cool. Okay, I can show you guys a really cool way to make landing pages and thank you pages, and really just have something to start building a list from, and we can go from there. First things first, if you have Aweber or Eye Contact, you got to be able to create your list in there first. So I'm going to log into the one that I have, and it's actually Eye Contact, so you guys can see the dashboard and see what it looks like. Don't steal my password, please. All right, here we go. So every one of them, they all have like the same things here. They just look a little differently. So the first thing I need to do here is I need to create a list. So I go into the contacts here, and it says right here, my list. I'm just going to create a list. I call this whatever right now. I'm going to call this Vicki's webinar. Right? I can call this, put whatever description you need in there. Send me notifications. Of course, you want to know when people are added or when they're being removed from your list. You don't need a public list label, but it's always cool to have too. But I'm just going to skip that right now because it's not important. We'll go save this, and now I have a list, right? So we can go ahead and add a welcome message. We can create a message here. We can do one from the message builder. See, all these programs, like especially Aweber, they have a really good template system. So you can click here, and you'll see use message builder. Something simple like that. But you don't want anything crazy that takes away from your message, of course, too, right, Vicki?
Right. Yeah, something simple that makes people focus on what it is that you're saying. It's not too distracting because, again, we have a tendency to get caught up in what's fancy, what's cute, and that's not always what works best. We want to focus more on the message. And just so you guys know, all of these systems are created so the average everyday person without technical experience like you and I can go in and start using them. These companies know that if they made it very difficult, nobody would use them. So they make them so you don't have to be technical. So don't be scared to dive in and learn how to do all this stuff with your list. It was created for people like you and I who don't have a clue. At least I don't have a clue.
So let's go ahead and we'll make the first message they're going to see when they opt into your website. Let's just click this one right here because it's nice and simple. Usually you guys want to stay away from, if you saw back on the other one was a black background with white text. It's kind of bad for people's eyes, so it really messes up the readability. You want to stick with something like a white background with dark text. It's much easier to read. It's better for your eyes. And you really want people to read your stuff. That's the most important thing, right? So we have your headline. Let's just say this here. Say thank you. Simple. And then here we can tell them all the things they're going to get. This basically just rehash what they already read on your website. So let's say look out soon for more. And then we'll just keep the rest in here. Okay? Really don't need all this stuff here. But it's always good to keep branding yourself. You have your Facebook fan page there if you guys have a fan page, your Twitter. If you do have a business phone number, add that. And of course, you know, if you have a physical business, you can do that there. Little logo. All kinds of cool stuff. So it's, like I said, this is the template, so it makes it nice and easier for you. I'm going to go ahead and save this. First I got, let's see here. All right. It said I had a problem here. What was it? Okay, as soon as I add a contact. Here we go. As soon as the contact joins the form, or joins from the form.
So that lets you know when somebody signed in or opted into your list, it'll let you know.
Yes. All right, there we go. So now that I'm here, we have to create a sign-up form. And in Aweber, it's actually called a web form. So it's similar. Sign-up forms, web form. You got, you know, very easy. So create HTML form, and we can keep this simple right here because we're going to use optimized press. So making the form how it looks right now is not very important. And if you have Aweber, just choose the very basic plain version, whereas it's stripped of everything else. You know, it just looks very basic. Click next. We'll call this form something. Let's call this landing page. All right, and we're going to add it to our list that we just created, Vicki's webinar. And here we can choose all the fields that we want to add to this form. We can do first name and we can do email, which is the most common, and we can leave it just like that. Okay? You can make this required or not, but of course the email has to be required. Okay? So let's keep that there, and then let's do see, we'll use one of my example sites. So how all right, so this is a page we're actually going to create in a few minutes, and go ahead and save that there. All right, good. Now that I have that done, I'm going to go here and click on View HTML, and it's going to give me the HTML I need, right? So now that we have this, Let's go and let's make a landing page. If we go over here, we're in our back end right here, right? Let's go take a look at a couple landing pages first. Let's go look at Vicki's first. Vicki's oh, sorry, wrong one. Superwoman Lifestyle. Alright, this is a great example of a landing page.
Hi, I'm Vicki Irvin. Thanks so much for taking the time to visit my page.
Stop me from talking.
Super good video. You know, we have a nice opt-in box right to the right of the video. We always want the opt-in box above the fold, so they see that right away. You have the free gift right here, the widget. Tell them all the great things they're going to get just for opting in, okay?
Let me stop you real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
This is where I back up technical people. For those who understand what he means when he says above the fold, some of you do have places to capture contact information on your site, your opt-in pages, or your websites, but they're not really visible, or people, when they go there, have to scroll up or down to find them, and you never want for that to happen. You have to understand this style of marketing that I'm talking about, everything is tested, and we know for a fact that if someone has to scroll up and down on a website, you're going to lose them. So we put it right in their face, and we position the opt-in box right there, so no matter what computer, because everyone's computer screens are different. So we place this stuff so that no matter what computer someone's looking at, they never have to scroll up or down to see it, because our only objective is to capture that name and email to start building that list. So that's why when he went to this page, I was right there in your face with it. So that's what above the fold means. Make sure your opt-in box is above the fold. Okay. Go ahead, techie person.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Also, okay, so, yeah, like she said, a lot of people have their opt-in boxes down here, and it's horrible. You want to keep it above the fold. You're not horrible if you have it like that, but your page is, at least for capturing information. So, it's a great example right there, Vicki's. Here's another one. This is one of the optimized press versions, right? Very nice and easy. Everything's above the fold. Boom. Great. So, let's go make one of those. If you have WordPress, which I suggest, highly suggest. And you know what? Let's see here. Make sure you guys are still with me too. So right in here, you use Optimize Press or WordPress. Go ahead and let me know.
Yeah, let's see how many people are actually using Optimize Press or WordPress. WordPress blogs are amazing for those of you who are doing blogging to help drive traffic to your sites and build your list and get more followers. We want to see, is anybody using Optimize Press or WordPress? Okay, Preston is using WordPress. Maria said all the way.
Nice.
Cheryl's using it. Tiffany, good. We got some people using
Very
WordPress.
nice, very nice.
Okay, Becky, good, guys. Good. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you guys are cool for hanging in there with me. I just want to say that we're going to get some good stuff, and you realize the value here. And I also told you that early in the call that I do not believe in talking about challenges and problems and not offering solutions, because that's what I do. And so there are going to be some of you who are going to want to do some stuff even further to get stuff done, these roadblocks, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I appreciate you guys hanging on. So go ahead, Lenny, and keep getting this stuff. They are into it. I really, it's good group. I'm excited.
Nice. Steven here asked a question too. What about landing pages for mobile devices? Well, the optimized press landing page that we're talking about right now, that whole theme, is actually really good for mobile also. The way they've coded everything is actually very nice and clean, and it looks really good. Also, let's see, I saw another question in here real quick. Thesis theme, that's another good one. All right. Good. All right, so basically, for those of you who don't know, Optimized Press is really just a theme, but it's a theme made for internet marketers and especially people that don't want to work with code. You know, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. They basically want something that's kind of like, you know, Microsoft Word, but for internet marketers. You know, everything's here for them, right? So you have WordPress, not WordPress.com, but WordPress.org, where you downloaded their software they give you, their open source software, and upload it onto your website, the one you just created, and you install that there, and now you have this website made of WordPress, right? So you take this optimized press theme, install that, and now you have these landing pages and anything else you want to create. It makes sense, guys? Go and write in the same question box if it makes sense for you. I'm just gonna go ahead anyway. So let's go and make a landing page in here. We added a new page. I already have my optimized press set up, and let's call this Vicki's webinar landing page. So we're gonna pretend we're making a landing page for people that want to register for the webinar, or at least that are interested in this webinar that we're on right now. Okay? Alright, so let's go look at a couple of different templates real quick of what we could use.
And Lenny, real quick, I wanted to, I saw people asking, the difference between a website and a landing page is this. I have a website that's VickiIrvin.com. That's like a media site for me. I know there's a lot of people, you know, hearing about me, searching for me, want to see what I'm about. So that's where you go to my website and you can see where I've been in the press. You can see about Vicki. You can see, you know, success products that I'm selling from my website. You can see about how to book you to speak. You can see about my coaching programs. You have so many different options like he's showing you right here. That's my website. It's busy. There's different places to go. Now, it's being currently revamped. There's some things here that are being done that don't look quite right because it's being reworked right now. But that's an example of your website. Now, when he took you to superwomanlifestyle.com, that's more of my landing page where you see that that doesn't have any options for you to click on other pages and go to different tabs. That page is designed strictly to get you to give me that name and email address, okay? So anytime I'm speaking live from stage or I'm at an event and I want people to opt into my list because this is a chance for me to build my list, and speaking live from the stage, write that down. Speaking and adding speaking to anything that you're doing right now, and I believe that just about all of you should be speakers and can be speakers. That's another income stream for your business, so write that down. I need to look into speaking. It's a great way to build your list. It's a great way to get paid. But when I'm in front of a crowd like that and I want to send them someplace to get information from me, I'm going to give them something free. So imagine me on stage and saying, you know, and thanks for being such a great audience. And if you go to superwomanlifestyle.com, I want to give you guys some stuff that can get you started right away. I have this free list building secrets guide that you can get absolutely free. All you have to do is enter your information there. And when they go to that page, it's not confusing. They won't be distracted because the only thing that page is designed for is for them to give me their information. And that's the difference between a landing page or an opt-in page and a traditional website. Remember, I have both, VickiIrvin.com, but I have that landing page, that squeeze page. And when you hear squeeze page, it's to squeeze the contact information out of people. That's where the term comes from. And that's its sole purpose. So I really want for people to start having pages for that. You know, if you're having an event, create a page for your event where you're building up people's interest in your event, where they enter their name and email to get updates on your event and find out more information, because that's how you start segmenting your list and marketing the people about their specific interests. That's how you get people to give you that information without them being distracted. So I did want to back up for a second and tell people the difference in a website and a squeeze page or an opt-in page or a landing page, because it can get confusing for a lot of people and they don't know, do I need both? Do I need one? Do I need the other? Everybody should probably have them.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead, Lenny.
I definitely could not have explained that any better. It's perfect. So let's go ahead and let's create this page. All right. So let's go back and look at the different types of templates. Since we're going to make a squeeze page, let's go click on that one. Because a squeeze page is what? The same thing as a landing page. Just another name for this type of landing page. All right. So there are all these different ones right here that they offer. Let's just go with the basic one. I like this one. It's good enough. There's a video that we can use. It's perfect. Okay. But since we don't have a video right now, you know what? Let's go and look at some other ones. These are all good. These are great. Perfect. Let's go for squeeze number 8. I like this one. It has a little fake video right there. They can click on it. You know, since we're doing a webinar, it kind of, you know, gets them ready for it. So we'll use squeeze 8. All right, here we go. Live video. Squeeze 8 live video. That's our template. All right. Now let's go to the headline first. It's the most important thing. So you see here they have options for squeeze page options. Let's go do that. Jump on the headline. Of course, we need a pre-headline. We need to let them know who we're talking to. What's this column right there? Attention entrepreneurs. All right. Let's change this text. Is maybe we'll make that a little bit darker. It's fine. And we'll change this font because Impact doesn't really do well. Let's do Tahoma. Good, good. I don't like this -1 px because it makes the text look too tight. And remember, again, it's all about readability. So you want people to be able to read stuff without, straining to read it. Make it easy as possible. Okay, attention entrepreneurs. Who else wants to learn the Vicki, would you agree it's a good headline?
Yes.
All right, good.
We're all about the headlines and copywriting and saying things that actually draw people to you guys. I'm glad you asked that, Lenny. What you say and how you say it, and I know people talk about how they have problems getting their emails opened up. It's all about the subject line. When we're all going through our email box, like I said in the morning, or whenever it is that you check your email and you start sifting through what you're going to open and what you're not, you're going to open the things that catch your eye, the things that make you want to know more. So I spend a lot of time thinking about my subject line sometimes because I know that my first challenge is getting people to even read what I have to say. And so you can't just have any old thing out there for subject lines. You have to become a student of copywriting and knowing how and what words to use, the psychology behind what makes a person say yes or no. It's another part of this whole entrepreneurial game that's going to be one of your number one secret weapons to really succeeding in business is knowing how to write effective copy, knowing how to write great headlines and capture people's attention and write stories and tell great stories in your e-zines and your emails that captivate people. That's another skill set that we teach and that we talk about, and I want you to know that that's a part of becoming a marketer, is learning how to write effective copy that moves people toward the action that you want them to take. It's not about having good grammar. It's not about dotting your I's and crossing your T's and being an English major because it doesn't matter. It's not about spelling all the words right. That's not the stuff that makes people work with you. It's about learning copywriting and the psychology behind what to say and how to say it so that it moves the person to take a positive action. So yes, that's a good headline. You got it from me.
Great. Of course. I was watching. All right, so again, Impact is not that good of a font for a great headline. Tahoma is typically the best one. It's proven from statistics, from different testing, to be a really great font, for your headline. Red is typically the best color, and I'm laughing because Vicki doesn't like the red one as much.
It's okay. I know it's tested improvement. It's okay.
But let's keep it red for right now. And I'm going to change this again. I don't like the letter spacing to be -1. We'll keep it bold, and we'll keep this one normal. We don't need to make it italics. Font size is usually around like 30 pixels or 36 pixels for your main headline. So we can even put, it's not working for me right now, but typically 36 pixels, and that's a good one right there. Subheadline. So this is our headline below the big red headline, right? Let's go and tell them more about where they're going to learn this. So, and how they can learn it. So how about enter your name and email. In the box to the right to register for this amazing webinar. So right there we're letting them know that they're going to learn this stuff on a webinar, and all they have to do is just enter their name and email in the box to the right to be registered for this thing. So we're making it nice and easy for them, right? Secondly, let's change this color to, let's make it like a bluish color. Because red and blue usually are good colors to counterbalance when you're doing landing pages for that to catch their eye. All right. Change this again to Tahoma. Get rid of that one, and that's good. And since we don't have a video, we don't need to do the headline below the video. We'll leave that be. If you do have a video, of course, you can just add that right here. Put your links in there. Auto start, and don't give them a controller either. You want to make sure that they can't click away from your video. So, but since we don't have a video, let's skip that. Now here, very important, our opt-in box. Where do we go? There we are. So we can customize this however we like. Let's go and we could skip it. Let's give it the animated red arrow. That looks cool. And then we'll do. Let's make that. You can tell them again to enter your name and email below. ... Make this a cool font. Let's say Hand of Sean's a good one. That's a nice little handwritten font. Opt-in box. After you enter your information in this box, be registered for the upcoming webinar. Always add a spam notice. You want to let people know that you're not going to sell their information. Okay, and then live up to your promise, of course. Okay, so that's our box.
Anyone who's freaking out like, oh my God, this stuff is so simple that he's showing right now. But we wanted you to get a behind the scenes of how, these things are linked up together, how they're created, how they're done. A lot of you have never seen how this stuff is done. And again, it's something you can learn to do yourself, or it's something that you can get somebody to be your go-to person for all your pages that you work with on an ongoing basis. But it's important that we tackle these things that we normally shy away from. So it's kind of my way of forcing you to look at some technical stuff, because I don't want you to be scared of it anymore, because you have to get your business running on systems now. A lot of you don't have systems. You're waking up every day wondering, how do I get new clients? How do I do this? How do I do that? And that is no way to run a business. Your business has to be built out on a structure and on a system. And once you have it in place one time, all you do is duplicate it. Once you have one page up, you duplicate it for whatever the next thing is that you're launching, whether it's an event or a product or a webinar or a teleseminar. Once the system's in place, all you have to do is duplicate it after that. But don't avoid it, because it's taking a lot of money away from you, and it's one of the top reasons why you're not profiting the way that you should be. You cannot run a business as an entrepreneur without systems. So I'm glad Lenny is showing us this stuff. And we just got a few more minutes here, so just hang on.
All right, I'll go speed through it a little bit. Autoresponder code, very important. Okay, so now that code that we saved over here, I'm going to go over here to the manual sign-up form. Not the JavaScript one. JavaScript's like this, right? It looks just like that. It's a little bit of code. We need a lot of this code, all that stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and to select all that code, copy it, and we'll go back over to that page we were in. You see where it says autoresponder code? I want to paste all that right there. As soon as we do that, boom, it pre-populates everything for us, all the stuff that it needs to make this form work, okay? So you see right here it says name, fields email. See, this is a little backwards, so we got to make sure this is right. You see where it says email is there, name's there, so let's go and copy that, move it. There we go. Let's go ahead and write your or you can even just leave it as your first name. And then here we want to say your best email. Okay. Make sure all these are checked off for show. We don't need any extra input fields since we're only using 2. And here is the cool part. We get to pick a nice looking button. So a big button to just catch your attention. So click here, select image. And since we're registering for a webinar, let's do register now. Go down to the bottom and use the selected image. All right. That's pretty much all we need right now just to get started. Let's go and publish that. Any moment now. There we go. All right, let's see what that page looks like. All right, cool. Of course, we can add a lot more text here so it looks much more full.
Nice.
And, there we go. That's our landing page.
See, now you created a landing page in like what?
Like
8 minutes?
5 minutes, 8 minutes.
5 minutes, 8 minutes, and that's the point I really wanted to drive home to you guys, that these pages that you see other people using, but you're like, how the heck are they doing it? I don't know how to do it or whatever. This is what I'm talking about. We have to get through these myths that this stuff is, you know, hard to do or time-consuming, or I have to be a techie person. You know, these sites were created for the average person, like I said, you and I, to be able to do it. Yes, I think Lenny do it behind the scenes and kind of go through it very quickly. I don't expect you to grasp it or anything, but I want you to see that once you learn how to do it, it's just duplicating it over and over again. So now when you have anything to launch, any new product, anything you want to focus on, and you just want to get that name and email, just whatever your list building needs are, you'll be able to do this stuff. So it's so important. That's the main thing I wanted Lenny to show you. Like, I know that you have a lot of technical questions. I saw all the questions. Again, there's no way Lenny can go through and answer all of these techie issues in this webinar. We're already going up on 3 hours and everything, but one of the biggest ones that's an obstacle is creating your own pages. And I need for people to be able to do this, and needed to be able to show you how to do it. And that's what was most important for me to be able to accomplish in this particular time frame. And if we get a chance, what I'll do is I'll have Lenny go back and answer some more technical questions that people I asked the technical questions a few days ago, because we knew that we were going to have Lenny on. At some point, hopefully, maybe I'll be able to get Lenny to answer a couple more questions out there that weren't covered here this evening. Did you have any other quick things to wrap up, Lynn?
That's pretty much it for the landing page. You know, nice and easy breezy.
Cool, cool. So, Lenny, one thing I want you to do before you pass the microphone back over to me is I wanted to ask people, did they see how quickly, did they get how quickly you were able to get that basic page up? I just want to see if we have people are saying, okay, this is actually doable. So
once you guys go ahead and yeah, I wouldn't write this in here right now. Go ahead and tell me if this was easy enough to do, guys.
Again, of course, you're not going to be able to do everything right now, but just seeing how quickly he was able to do that. Pam says she loved the demo. It was priceless. Lorraine didn't even know about Optimized Press. Lorraine, you're going to get a chance to meet Lenny, because I know you're coming to my event this Saturday, actually, that I'm actually going to be talking about in a second. Lawanda loved the demo. Yeah, Melanie said absolutely. I mean, just to see someone go back there and create that quickly, because they're templates. Yeah. Great, Sharon. Great, Ashley. Yes. Yes. Stacy got it. Liliana got it. Everybody's getting it. It's priceless to be able to go behind the scenes and see that it's not as difficult as you probably thought it was. And it's a brand new world there. Dion's like, simple. He didn't say he doesn't think he'll have a problem. Great, great.
Nice.
Great.
So let me pass the screen back to you, Vicki.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lenny. I appreciate you doing that demo for me.
No problem.
So, Marsha, that site was Optimized Press. Okay? So what I wanted to do, and thanks you guys, again, for the participation. Let me see. Let me show my screen. Getting my screen back here. Okay. All right. So I just, again, basically wanted you guys to get a good idea of the technical stuff, to not be afraid of it. There's more of that where it came from. And one of the things I did was, again, first let me thank you for staying on with me. This has turned into a 3-hour webinar. A lot of you are not even used to webinars going that long, I understand. But when we get to talking and we get to flowing, I could do this all night long. But I know at some point my son, who's now taking a nap, because it's, what is it, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock here? I don't even know. So it's 8 o'clock here. He's taking a nap because we're going to go back out and hang out all night till the park closes. But I just was really important to me to get over these obstacles that are stopping so many people on the brink of greatness from going to the other side. A lot of you are right there. You're right there on the brink with these small roadblocks and challenges that are stopping you from prospering in your business. They're systems related. They're fear related. They're a lack of knowledge related that we've already admitted that we talk ourselves out of investing in what we really need to get. And we've admitted a lot of things together that we're all opting into people's lists, trying to get things for free, and that's not working. I mean, we let it all hang out here, and it's really important to me. This is my teaching style. This is how I do things. And it's important to push people off the fence of being on the brink, because what happens is a lot of people end up giving up in their business. And they start to second-guess themselves, and they start to say, okay, well, maybe this wasn't a good idea in the first place. And that's just not the case. It's that you're not going after the knowledge that you need to make it to the other side and make it happen. Okay, I know that for a fact. And so one of the things that you heard me say is that I don't believe in talking about challenges but not offering solutions, because that's not what I do. And I tried to think of something that I could do for people who wanted to do things and work with me and work with Lenny even further. I had talked to Lenny about this. I already have some people here who are already a part of this, but I have this event coming up on Saturday, which I've done a couple times before. I normally only do it once a year, and it's called my Business Reinvention Retreat. And this is a one-day intensive event where I invite people to come out and bring their computers. If they don't have one, we have plenty of computers there. But come out to our internet combat room and work with me and Lenny one-on-one all day. Now, I'll tell you this is a small group, and I only keep it up to about 7 people. And we do that because everyone needs to get their individual attention and leave with their businesses reinvented. This is an event where you come and I teach and you take notes. This is an event where you come and you fix the things in your business that haven't been working, and you leave with the business totally reinvented. You leave with the challenges already busted through. You leave with everything working. And I do that in conjunction with Lenny because he's the technical person. So if you have systems issues and you want to do what he just did, come out and Lenny's going to be there to help you do it. Okay? How priceless is it to get your blog working the right way, or to get your WordPress blog up and working? How priceless is it to get Optimized Press up and working? Someone asked me how much Optimized Press was, I believe. Optimized Press, I think you buy it one time for $97 for a lifetime, and you can create as many sites as you want. Did you hear me? $97 for a lifetime of you being able to create as many pages as you want. Okay? This is a brand new world. A lot of people don't know this stuff. So what I want to do is offer people an opportunity to come out to the Business Reinvention Retreat and work with Lenny and I. If it's a branding issue that you have, if it's a systems issue that you have, if it's a clarity issue that you have, if you want to work with me on creating your unique model that I talked about earlier, then come out to this reinvention retreat and leave with your business model done that's going to differentiate you in the marketplace. This is what the Business Reinvention Retreat is for. Again, I keep it very small so that every person can get what they need and walk away with their business reinvented. This is essentially an implementation day. I'm not going to be sitting there teaching. You are going to be working with myself and with Lenny to get the stuff done, to get the things done that have been having you spinning in these circles that we've all admitted that we've been spinning in. You know, it's up to you. I'm there to work with people. I already have a few people that I know were a part of this webinar tonight who are actually already coming to the reinvention retreat. And so I have a couple more slots for the one on Saturday. Now, for a lot of you, I know that's going to be short notice. And so I told Lenny, well, let me look on my crazy calendar right now and see about people who aren't able to come out right away, who may want to take advantage of coming to a Business Reinvention Retreat. And that's specifically for the people in this group. Now, you heard me say that I only usually do it about once a year. I'm getting ready to ramp up for my new 12-month high-level mastermind students, and working with them is a lot for me during the course of the year. I also have a lot of private clients in addition to everything else that I do. But what I'm going to do for the people who really got great value from this event and want to get over these things that have been keeping them stuck, prevented them from profiting, and get the stuff done, is I added another date for the reinvention retreat, and I've added a date of September 1st. So again, I have one coming up this Saturday, August 11th, and I also have one that I'm planning just for you guys, September 1st, if you want to come and work with me. Now, the spots, again, are extremely limited. There's only, I believe, 2 or 3 slots left available in the one coming up this Saturday. And then I'm only taking up to 7 people on the September 1st date. Now, the investment for the reinvention retreat is $997, and that's a day of working with myself and Lenny. If you had to work with a person like Lenny and pay him yourself, you'd be out of pocket quite a bit. To work with me one-on-one is $5,000 a day. Okay, so this is a chance to come in at a very different type of rate because I'm taking a few of you at the same time. So getting the systems person in place and getting my coaching and me getting you over all of these things in your business that have you stuck so down the wrong path at $997. Another thing that I'm going to do is this. Let me just pull it up here. Let's see if I can move this out the way. Okay, so here's the application for the Business Reinvention Retreat if you want to be a part of it. As you can see right here, okay, for August 11th, I only have 3 slots left. And for September 1st, we're only taking up to 7 people. So one-time investment, $997. I even offer an installment plan. The installment plan obviously is only going to be good for the September 1st date. Okay, so September 1st date because that gives you time to make a payment now and then, you know, the other one before September 1st. As long as you're paid in full by September 1st, not a problem for me. You can do it in 2 equal installments here, or $997, which is a painful discount. So again, only 3 slots left. If you want, if you're like, okay, I want to do this now. This is my time to get in there with them and get this stuff done. I'm tired of spinning in circles. There's 3 slots left. And if you want to apply, because I do not take everyone, because it's important to me that right here you list what your current business challenges are and what you would like to work on during the reinvention retreat. And I look at that, and if I don't think that it's something that can be done in this particular environment, I will tell you. I'm not interested in having you come and knowing that we can't get what you need done in that one day. Okay, so I will honestly tell you if I don't think this is the right fit for you. But if what you put here, I think we can totally get accomplished in that one day and walk away with your business reinvented and you getting over those hurdles in your business, then I'll let you know. So those are the options that you have here again. August 11th, which is this Saturday, an all-day event, or September 1st. Now, applications are going to be considered in the order in which that they are received. So you do want to act quickly. We talked about fast action implementation, all that hemming and hawing. There's still some of you who are going to talk yourself out of it. You know, that's fine. You have to get to that point, though, where you start saying, you know, this is an opportunity for me to do something different and to get what I need so that I can move past these roadblocks. You know, Lenny's, you don't have to worry about Lenny. I'm taking care of Lenny. He's going to be there all day to do all this technical stuff for you if you're having list issues, whatever it is. If you want to create your list, if you want to get your system together and have Lenny link it to an opt-in page and leave with a list linked up to an opt-in page, that can happen for you at this reinvention retreat. All right? There's so much we're going to be doing here for the few select people that get in here. Now, ways to, this is what you need to do if you're interested in doing this. You fill out this short application completely. We will let you know if you're accepted, so don't worry about anybody charging your card or anything right now, but you have to fill it out completely to indicate that you're serious. All right, I'm only looking for serious people. But what you do is you email your completed application to info@VickiIrvin.com, as you see down here. That's info@VickiIrvin.com, or you can fax it to 301-449-0620. That's the instructions for how to get it back in are on the bottom. But the main thing is to request the application first. All right, so all you need to do is send an email to info@VickiIrvin.com and say, let us know you're requesting an application. We'll get it back out to you. You fill it out and get it back into us. And we'll number them in the order in which they're received as far as acceptance and everything. And again, I'm not interested in just having you come. If I don't feel it's something that we can tackle and get done and fix for you, that day, I'll let you know that this isn't the environment for that. But if it's something where we can get you past these roadblocks that have you stuck all this time, where you're losing time and money, then this is going to be a great event for you. Again, and I'm adding this second day. Normally only do these once a year. I'm adding this second day because I know a lot of people may not be able to take advantage of this on short notice. Some will, especially if you live in my local area. Some will. I have people driving up to this right now. Sherry's on the phone. Lorraine is coming. Not on the phone, on the webinar. I see a couple of people who are coming from the webinar already. That's why there's only a couple slots left for this Saturday. But if you're able to get in and you want to get it knocked out and you're like, I'm on it, you know, by all means, that's the one you want to apply for. If you need more time because the date doesn't work or because you want to take advantage of the payment plan here, then I would suggest you getting it back in and indicating September 1st. So that's what I have for you there. Again, to request the application, send an email to info@VickiIrvin.com letting us know you're requesting the Reinvention Retreat application, and we will send the application back out to you. Let me see if I can get back on my screen here. Always have problems getting back after I show something. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I made the instructions clear. Did I make the instructions clear for the retreat application? Just want to make sure there. You guys let me know if I made that clear. And if you had any questions about the Reinvention Retreat at all, let me know. Okay, people are saying I made it clear. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. Okay. Tony's asking where it's going to be held. Good question. Tabitha asked you to post the email again. Okay, so request an application. Request application by emailing info@VickiIrvin.com, and we will send it to you. Okay. Now, Tony is asking where it's going to be held. It's going to be held in Camp Springs, Maryland, and I give out the exact location upon acceptance of the event. It's kind of, like I said, it's an internet combat room, so it's set up with lots of whiteboards, computers, high-tech equipment. If you have, hey, this is the other thing, if you have video that you need to have shot, we can shoot video as well. There, Lenny does a lot of video stuff there. If you have videos that you want to record for your pages, and everyone should be using video on their websites to connect with people. You see how when we went to Superwoman Lifestyle, I had that video there. Video increases your chances of connecting with people and getting that opt-in information like a millionfold. So if you have videos you want us to coach you through and help you do, we can record your videos there. Our equipment, we have green screens. This is a high-tech room. So my point in saying that is that we have a lot of expensive equipment there, and not a lot of people know about this location. So I will give it out to people when they're accepted, but it is going to be in Camp Springs, Maryland. For anyone who wants to know. You're welcome, Tabitha. That was a good question to ask. Let me see. So I got the email there, info@VickiIrvin.com. We'll get it right back. Again, speed is on your side with this. As you see, it's not a thing where, you know, I could easily say, oh, yeah, I can take 30 people or whatever, but I could not realistically have you invest in an event with 30 people and have you walk away with your business reinvented. I'm very ethical with what I do. That's why I have to keep this a small, intimate group so that Lenny and I can make sure everybody walks away with their stuff changed around the right way. So what I'm saying, the reason I'm saying that is because you don't have time to do the, do the self-sabotage thing. I'll think about it overnight and decide in the morning, because we are going to start looking at people and accepting them based on when they get their application. And we always reward fast action. Also, I want to let you guys know about a bonus that I'm giving out as well. I have an amazing course called Female Marketing Secrets. I know some of you have my Female List Building Secrets that I gave you absolutely free, but I also have a course called Female Marketing Secrets. And this is a 6-week course that I currently sell for $197 off my website at VickiIrvin.com. You can see it there, and people buy it all the time. But this is a 6-week course that I deliver online on how to start setting up your email and doing that copywriting I was talking about, and communicating with your audience. A lot of guys and ladies, too, of course, are marketing to people who are women. and they're not saying the right things. Women have different psychological triggers than men, especially the guys. They're totally missing the boat on how to talk to their female market. And this course is delivered to you over the course of 6 weeks, right to your inbox. I'll give you a different action step every single day. And again, it's a value of $197 that I'm giving to anyone who applies for and gets accepted into the Reinvention Retreat. And for anyone who's already coming to the Reinvention Retreat who may not have that course, I'm definitely going to already give that to you as well. You're already good to go with that. And again, just the stuff with Lenny is priceless, because if you can't get a person like Lenny to do this stuff that we're going to be doing in this one-day intensive course, so it's important for you to recognize the value of what you're getting, the value of what you're getting. So again, anyone needs to get their application in this evening, preferably, so that when I come back from hanging out at Disneyland, you guys are making it so I have to hang at Disneyland into the evening now. It's all good. I had a good time with you. But it's really, really important that you get your applications in right away. Let me take a quick look here. Give me a second to see if there's any more questions that I need to answer. Let's see. And you know what else I'm going to do, too? If anyone who submits, I've got to train you guys to start moving with speed. Anyone who submits their application actually in the next hour, okay, and you get accepted, we'll actually edit your video for you, okay? So there's another savings as well. If you had to get a video editor to edit your stuff and put it up on your pages for you, you guys don't know how to do that yourself. Most of you don't. And you know you're going to have it edited, probably, because all the takes that it takes. But we're going to help you. We're going to edit the video. We're going to get it up for you. This is all stuff that Lenny does. So from video to those pages he just created, to list issues, if you have problems with your current list, if you want to set up a list to start from scratch, getting your stuff in place to start building your list, we will do all of that stuff for you. For the people who want to work on their branding and positioning and come up with their own unique process, remember I said that we're going to help people come up with their own unique process? I'll help you solve your branding blues, as I like to call them, why your brand isn't working. We'll take a look and see what's going on with you, if you're talking to the right people, where they are, the whole 9 yards. We'll set up your stuff to run on mobile phones also. If you have iPhones and Androids, we'll set up your stuff to run on your mobile phones. I mean, this is all stuff that a person like Lenny can do. Mobile apps. I mean, there's just no limit to the different types of stuff we can do. So for anyone who submits to the next hour, remember, we're going to also edit your videos and get them up for you. And for anyone, don't worry, who's already coming, you're automatically going to get this stuff as well. I just want to help as many people as possible. Kimberly, that address to send in your application, to request the application, rather, it's info@VickiIrvin.com. To request the application, send an email to info@VickiIrvin.com. That's VICKIIRVIN, to get the application and get it back in as soon as possible. That's just, important that you move with speed, because you see how limited the spots are. And for anyone who's right in the area and knows that they can just come right here, like I have people traveling from South Carolina to come to the Reinvention Retreat, have to get hotel rooms. Anyone who's right in the area who wants to get in on Saturday's class and get their stuff done quickly and not have to wait anymore, spending any more time or spending more money or spinning in circles or whatever, definitely get there for the Saturday date. And again, for anyone who wants to come in September because you need more time or you need to take advantage of that generous payment plan that I put in place, apply for the September 1st date. And again, that's being done just for the people of this group, okay? Because again, I only usually do the Reinvention Retreats once a year because of my schedule. I am coming off of my 3-day event. I have not had a vacation. Disneyland is not a vacation for me. I've not had a vacation. My schedule is filling up with my private clients, all types of stuff going on. But I just think it's important, because I hate to see so many people with good businesses right on the brink to not get what they need, and end up giving up or spending more time and money just spinning in circles. I know how it is. Everything I said on this webinar is because I've been there, and because I've also worked with so many people, and I know how the vicious cycle goes. I know how it goes. So it's just really, really important. Deborah said, how do I get an application? Again, it's info@VickiIrvin.com. Yes, Liliana wants to know if she doesn't have an established business, can she still apply? Absolutely, Liliana. I've worked with a lot of people in my high-level mastermind groups, which are $15,000. A lot of people there are coming to me with just ideas right now or want me to help them narrow down their idea and then work on growing their business. So for the person who's still in idea phase or thinking about what they want to do as an entrepreneur, this is a great place for you to come and work with me on figuring out what it is you're going to be doing. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are at that phase. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do, and the business is not totally established. Absolutely. So, absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me see. Let's see. Thanks, Kimberly. She says, thank you, and thank you for your family allowing us to have this time. Let's see. All right. Everybody has instructions. Lori submitted her request. Deborah, you want to know how long to receive an application? As soon as I get off the webinar, I'm going to shoot these back. I promise. As soon as I get off the webinar, I just want to make sure I have all questions. As soon as I get off the webinar, I will shoot the applications back to you, which of course means I won't be going on to Disneyland until I get you guys these applications, but that's okay. Deborah said she got it. Cool. Yeah, Liliana, yep, answered her question. Got Deborah. Deborah's waiting to hear back. She's like, where's my app? I'm coming, Deborah, I'm coming. Okay, so if I don't have any more questions, I really want to thank you guys. I want to thank you for taking the time. Again, I know a lot of you aren't used to webinars that go this long, but like I say, I like to flow. You're welcome, Brenda. I like to flow, and I like to give all that I've got and be really transparent, because I know how it was when I was getting there. You heard my story of doing everything myself and having to figure it out. And finally, just becoming a marketer for my business was a turning point, becoming a real marketer for my business. So I applaud you for staying on the line this long, giving up your Sunday evening. You know, it works both ways. I appreciate you being here. We're going to do a lot of more great stuff within this group. But my biggest thing is that I don't believe in just talking theory or talking about your challenges. I want to always provide solutions for you. A lot of people don't know where to turn and what to do. And we have great stuff going on. So again, you guys get your applications in within the next hour. I'll be able to time it. We're going to do your video edits. We'll shoot video. We'll put your videos up. We'll get your Optimized Press going. Remember, I said Optimized Press is only $97 for you to be able to create as many sites as you want for life. And you probably didn't know that. If anybody wants to create their Elance accounts, branding, positioning, figuring out who their target market is, whatever it is, and if I feel we can get it done at these reinvention retreats, send in your application and let's make it happen. I would love to work with you and have you come back and post to the people in the group what you did that day. You know, giving them inspiration. You know, it's not about what I do. I want to see what you guys do, and you guys coming back and giving back and saying, hey, you know, hey, this person, that person of the group, I did this, working with Vicki and Lenny. You know, that inspires people. That shows people stuff. You know, so I'm really proud of you guys being here. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the webinar. If anyone has any lingering questions, I may be able to get to them a little bit later. But for now, I know I better get off this phone and get these applications back to people. You're very welcome for everyone sending their thank yous. And if you felt it was a great webinar, please go ahead and post that to let me know that my time was well worth it. I like a little pat on the back too sometimes. So if you think it was a great webinar, go ahead and post and let me know. I really appreciate it. And again, if you have an application to send in to apply for the Reinvention Retreat, the email to send a request for the app is info@VickiIrvin.com. Again, it's info@VickiIrvin.com, VickiIrvin. All right, everybody. I will talk to you soon. We'll be doing a lot more stuff in this wonderful group. And again, thanks and have a good evening.